in Alabama, but we're seeing strong rotation and strong winds. So this is not only a tornado, but a stronger tornado when you really see the green lit up there on radar. And this is moving very quickly here, moving through Alabama, but again, expected to move into Georgia here as we head through the afternoon. It's all part of a very big system, a big line of storms that we've been tracking across the southeast, has a history of producing tornadoes, and now it's getting closer and closer to our area. This is the line here extending across northwestern Georgia. We've had severe thunderstorm warnings across northwestern Georgia and even northwestern portions of the metro, but we haven't seen tornado warnings yet for any of our viewing area in Georgia. Now, I do want to take you south of Jasper and Putnam County quickly here, because we do have another tornado warning just south of our viewing area, but this could possibly here be extended to include southern portions of Putnam County. So Eatonton right here, this is Putnam County. The tornado warning right now is just south of Putnam County, south of Jasper and Putnam. This is not our viewing area, but this is the cell right here, moving through central Georgia, and it is moving northeast. So although we do not have a warning yet in Putnam County, I wanted to give you a heads up because this will likely be extended into Putnam, and then we will likely have a tornado warning for that area. So kids are coming off school, you got friends and family in southern Putnam County, give them a heads up. The more advanced anticipation you can get, the better, so you can plan ahead, get out of your vehicles, get everyone out and into their safe spot right now as a potential tornado gets closer and closer to that area. But where we do have a tornado warning, again, this has a history of being a confirmed tornado, and looking at radar, very likely a tornado on the ground moving into Alabama here. Zooming on in so you can see where this rotation is there. So this is near Hampton, near Tiller Crossroads, near Denver, near Burton Road, near Trammell Crossroads, Foster Crossroads, Union Hill. If you are familiar with this area, if you have friends and family in this area, give them a call, text them, give them a heads up. Potential tornado on the ground in far eastern Alabama, moving closer and closer to the Georgia border. Right here, south of Tiller Crossroads, is where we have that possible rotation here in eastern Alabama, near Burton Road, near Denver here. And we did put the winds on it. Earlier, we had 100+ mile-an-hour winds within this storm, now tracking 40 to 50 mile-an-hour winds. So possibly a weaker tornado, but it doesn't mean it can't intensify. Certainly, that is certainly possible. If you stepped outside at any point today, you can feel the humidity, the moisture. It's very soupy. It's very warm. We have high dew points. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 60s. These are all the ingredients we need for severe weather and possible tornadoes, especially when you factor in that we have a strong cold front approaching. So these storms very possibly could be very intense, very dangerous. At a minimum, even taking the threat of tornadoes aside, we are going to see strong winds as these storms approach, possibly damaging winds. Could see winds of 40, 50, 60+ mile an hour, even beside the threat of tornadoes. So again, Hogansville, this possible tornado heading your way at 343, Luthersville at 354 as it moves very quickly to the east here at about 45 to 55 miles an hour. Again, moving through Alabama, and then eventually we'll have to watch Troup County. So here's LaGrange, here's Troup County. We'll have to watch as this moves potentially into Heard County, Troup County, maybe even Coweta County. So we're watching all the areas ahead of this line. Then as we take you into northwest Georgia, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is brand new here. This is for Douglas County, Carroll County, and this is until 3:30 this afternoon. So Douglas County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Coweta County until 3:30, potentially very strong winds, possibly damaging winds, some hail within these storms, and very heavy rain with frequent lightning moving quickly to the east. So this is getting closer and closer to the western and southwestern portions of the metro area. Severe thunderstorms. Again, this is brand new for Carroll County, portions of Coweta County, portions of Douglas County under a severe thunderstorm warning as this line moves closer and closer here. Putting a track on this storm here, this is a severe thunderstorm, so I do expect the potential of wind damage from this line. Moving towards central Hatchie at 309. Whitesburg heads up 316. Strong damaging winds, very heavy rain, hail, all possible as this storm gets closer to your area. Noonan 328, Palmetto 330, Fairburn 334, Union City 336, East Point also 336, College Park at 337, Tyrone at 338, Peachtree City 341. I know that's a long list of cities, but it is so important that we show these to you so that if you're in the path of these storms, you are taking cover, you are inside. This is the time kids are coming home from school, the buses, carpool. If you are in the path of these dangerous storms, please stay weather aware and stay safe. And that is why we do this street level mapping. This is why we pinpoint your cities in detail so that you can prepare yourself and get yourself to safety. And most importantly, if you have friends in this area, family in this area, neighbors, make sure you give them a text, a call, and let them know what is happening. We all need to work together to protect each other, and it's so important to do that in situations like this. Northside Drive, Hickory Heights, Castle Gate East through the Lando Plenty subdivision and River Bend. Very, very strong winds, heavy downpours, possibly damaging winds moving through your area. And we do have Rodney Harris, meteorologist Rodney Harris. He is tracking these storms and getting the very latest information with these, including this tornado warning in Alabama. Rodney, what are you seeing?
All right, Jen, one of the reasons why we're so concerned about this storm in Randolph County is because, as you mentioned before, this is actually a tornado warning that we have been tracking for hours now. At one point, this had a tornado emergency with it as it was tracking across Alabama. So now as it's getting ready to move into West Georgia, oftentimes we give you these tornado warnings that are radar indicated, but the reason why that box is purple is because that is a confirmed tornado warning. We know that there is an issue there as that storm continues to track toward the north and east. So that is a dangerous situation, as Jen mentioned, as it starts to move toward the north and east, eventually making it into Troup and Heard County. We are very concerned because this could be one of those long track storms as it crosses over into Georgia. Also looking at the storm reports, Jen, that are coming in. Right now, we are not seeing any storm reports in North Georgia. A lot of the action has been in Alabama so far this morning, but as this line eventually makes its way into Atlanta within like the next 30 minutes to an hour, we do anticipate for the city of Atlanta very strong winds moving into our region. I'm going to actually zoom into Atlanta for you to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. Even though the tornado warning itself is in Alabama, you can see rain, heavy at times, also a lot of lightning that's getting ready to move in here where we are. So if you are out and about in Metro Atlanta right now, even without a tornado warning, expect some very heavy rain, expect the potential of wind gusts of at least 50 miles per hour as this line eventually moves through. And again, right now it's currently 308. We do anticipate this line to be moving into Cobb County really right now, as you can see. So I'm going to stop this loop and zoom into Cobb County for you, because if you are in Ackworth, you are already starting to see those storms. Marietta, it's dry for you now, but that will eventually make its way into the Marietta area over the next 10 minutes. And we have someone live in Ackworth right now. You can actually see where the rain is starting to come down in Ackworth. So if we can go out live to get a better idea of what's going on there. You are not under a warning in Ackworth, but definitely seeing some heavy rain, definitely seeing some lightning there. And if you're in Marietta, if you are in Smyrna, if you are in Austell, that rain will eventually make its way to you again within the next 15 minutes or so, ultimately making its way down into Atlanta. But Jen, as you mentioned, our concern right now is this tornado warning as that storm is moving into Randolph County.
Yeah, and we look at some of the language that we get within these warnings, and not very long ago, we're talking about maybe 20 minutes ago, as this tornado was moving through Alabama, it was a confirmed dangerous tornado. It was spotted, not only radar indicated, but people on the ground actually physically saw this tornado, and it was on the ground for an extended period of time. This wasn't a quick 2-minute tornado. This is a deadly, dangerous tornado long-lived tornado, and a powerful tornado. So this system, history of producing strong, damaging tornadoes and long-lived tornadoes and stronger tornadoes, not something we typically see in January. Normally in January, we do see tornadoes, but usually they're the weaker, short-lived tornadoes. So this is more typical of what we see in the spring, in the April timeframe, April, May, which is the peak of our severe weather season. Certainly not something we normally see in January, which is why we do these first alerts and these first alert weather days to keep you aware and keep you prepared and give you as much warning as possible. Want to take you back to this tornado warning. Again, this is for Randolph County in Alabama, but we're watching this as it moves east out of Randolph County, possibly into Alabama. And again, we are still seeing this rotation within this possible tornado here. And this is a radar estimated tornado. So we are watching for that, but again, has a history of actually being one on the ground. Again, where you see the red and the green. This is where we're watching right around 431. So if you live near 431, if you have friends and family near 431, this is in Alabama. I know sometimes when we zoom in tight, it's hard to get your bearings, but this is a possible tornado moving into Randolph County here, near 5 Points, near White Plains, near Chapel Hill. You need to get to your safe spot. So we talk about this all the time, but we don't get that many tornadoes, or certainly not very often. So many of you may forget, you want to get to the lowest level of your home. A basement is the best place to go. If you don't have a basement, the bottom level of where you live, that is going to be the best spot to be. You want to cover your head. You can get a helmet to cover your head. Sometimes for kids, that's easy to do. Just put a helmet on them. That way you know their head is protected. And you need to stay in that area until the tornado warning is canceled or expired. We will let you know if and when that happens. As soon as it happens, we will let you know so you can go out and about in your day. We don't want you to stay in your safe spot all day. We want you to continue safely with your day as soon as it is safe to do so. So here's what you need to do. Go to the lowest floor of your home. If you have a basement, that's the best place to go. You want to stay away from windows. You want an interior room, a closet, a bathroom. Sometimes those are your best bet. An interior room, and again, wear a bicycle helmet to protect your head. That is the most important. When you get these strong tornadoes, the debris is flying and you really want to protect yourself as much as possible. So now a confirmed tornado warning. Again, this is until 3 o'clock Central Time. So that is 4 o'clock Eastern Time. This is for Randolph, Alabama, and this is moving closer and closer to the Georgia border. This is Troup County. So again, Randolph County will be watching potentially for Troup County or even Heard County as this gets closer and closer to Georgia for a confirmed tornado. So watching this here as it gets closer and closer to Georgia, and I suspect we have a long afternoon with several warnings. We have a brand new meteorologist, and what way to welcome him than with some severe weather. Patrick Pete, we've been watching this for hours as it moved through Alabama.
And it's moved through half of the state as a confirmed or destructive tornado. So this has been incredible to see unfold first week here. A very dangerous situation for folks in Alabama, but that is heading our way. And right now that has been extended into portions of Randolph County. And this is why, folks, we first alert. So we've been checking out the dynamics of this for the last few days. We've alerted you to this as early as the weekend that we were going to see this weather moving in, and that was going to bring the chance of some thunderstorms. Now, everybody is seeing different things. We've already shown you video of some rain in portions of Georgia that's created some ponding, and that's going to create some issues as folks are leaving work and getting ready to get on the road and drive home. We want to make sure that we caution you to drive slower because that's one of the risks that we are dealing with. But in addition to that, there is lots of lightning out there. We don't really often mention lightning as a risk whenever we're talking about tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. But once again, lightning is very deadly out there, and you don't want to be caught out in an open field. You don't want to be caught under a tree when this is happening. You want to make sure that you are in a safe place. But even bigger, we're going to zoom back into this tornado warning because this is the reason that your first alert weather team is in extended coverage. We have what we've been tracking as a confirmed tornado that has actually been shifted a little bit further towards the north and east. So this is now including folks that are in LaGrange, Hogansville right now. This warning is set to expire over the course of the next 45 minutes or so. We have been tracking this rotational signature that we've been referencing throughout the last couple of hours. You're seeing that red and that green. There's essentially a couplet. Whenever they're that close together, and they are tight, and you get those brighter greens and those deeper reds, that is indicating some pretty strong rotation here. And we've been tracking this rotational signature for the last 2 hours or so. And we can query these winds because they're going to give us an issue. You're going to see a negative and a positive number. The green is winds that are blowing towards the radar. The reds are away. And what we typically do is we combine those numbers, and we get updates every couple of seconds here, but that was essentially nearly 90 miles per hour gate to gate winds. So that allows us to see from the radar how fast those winds are rotating. And that's why we're continuing to track this. If you're in 5 Points, Stroud, Cumble Mill, Welch, you need to be in that safe place that Jen was just mentioning. You need to be away from all exterior windows, all doors bunkered down. If you have friends that are downwind from that in Standing Rock, Evansville, McCosh Mill, Antioch, Covered Bridge, you need to alert them that, hey, this is coming. And this is not just a radar indicated. We have actually seen reports of people actually seeing this tornado. It was large and destructive at one point. And Jen, this has been going on for hours.
Yeah, for hours. And it's probably going to continue to go on for hours, which is why we are all here to keep you and your family safe. Now, I'm looking at some of the wording here with this tornado warning. Again, this is for Randolph County, Alabama. And not only is it warned for that tornado, but also extensive straight line winds, so very strong straight line winds. And that's something we're going to see in these storms, not only possible rotation, but even when you're talking about straight line winds of 60 plus miles an hour, that is enough to create damage. When you see some of those trees come down, power lines come down, roof structures damaged, when you see a lot of times in the gas stations, the wind kind of goes under the awnings of those gas stations and you see the roofs fly away, that can be from straight line winds as well. So it's not only tornadoes that could possibly cause damage and destruction this afternoon, it's also going to be those straight line winds that are going to be right along that front or right along that line of storms that is marching through Alabama and now northwest Georgia. So that tornado warning now into Troup, that tornado watch, I should say, tornado warning, looks like it's been extended into Troup County. Yep, brand new tornado warning now for Troup County and Heard County. So Heard County, Troup County, this is exactly what we were saying, that I was expecting this to be extended into Georgia. And now that tornado warning has been extended into Georgia as it moves out of Alabama into Troup County, Heard County, very quickly. This is a fast moving tornado. You don't have time to react. You need to act ahead of the storm. Don't wait until it's already there. It's too late at this point, that point. This storm is moving to the northeast, 50 to 60 miles an hour. Imagine when you're driving on the downtown connector at 50 to 60 miles an hour. That's how fast this tornado is moving on the ground. So you need to get to your safe spot now if you are in Troup County. And we're talking about northern Troup County. Northern Troup County, southern Heard County. You are in that tornado warning. Get to your safe spot right now. A very potential dangerous tornado is heading in your direction. When you see the colors screaming at you, which is what this is doing, that bright green, that is a tornado very likely on the ground. Radar estimated here, but certainly I would not be surprised if this is a tornado on the ground, not only by looking at it on the radar here, but just by judging what we've seen this afternoon and the history this storm has had right over Cumbie Hill and just southwest of Findlay. So Findlay, Standing Rock, Evansville, this tornado will be over your area very, very soon. If you have friends and family in Standing Rock, if you have friends and family in Evansville, if you have friends and family in Findlay, Stroud, it is now moving out of Stroud and away from Stroud. But if you are on the east side of the storm, the northeast side of the storm, take cover immediately. Go to your safe spot. Again, do not wait until that tornado is over you. Get in a safe spot now. I know this is a very busy time in the afternoon, kids coming home from school, a lot of activity in the afternoon. So certainly very, very dangerous situation here evolving for the afternoon for much of North Georgia. Want to track this for you here. This is Hogansville at 343, Luthersville 354, Brooks at 413, and we put the track here on the actual tornado here to give you as good of an estimate as possible. So from the tornado here, the possible rotation, which is just south of Roanoke, you can see it very clearly there on the radar. We're going to track that. And again, Grantville, Hogansville, Sonoy towards Peachtree City. If this holds together, this is heading in your direction. Finley, Standing Rock, right along and east of 431, that is where we are seeing a potential tornado on the ground. If you are just now joining us, we have a tornado warning for Troup County and Heard County. So please, if you are in northern Troup County, southern Heard County, you are under a tornado warning for a storm that has a history of producing a strong, destructive, damaging tornado. A confirmed tornado at one point. Rodney, do you have something new?
Yeah, so we just saw this pop up while you're tracking, Jen. We call this a TDS. I'm going to put it back on first alert radar. This essentially means that we have, this is as good as our radar can do at confirming that a tornado could be on the ground. And Jen is showing you those reds and those greens that are coming together here. But that TDS, which is that big icon, if we can put a max 1 up for Jen on full screen, you're going to see that icon that just popped up while Jen was talking. That TDS is a very dangerous signature, and we've been giving you a lot of different reasons why this tornado warning is in effect. But that TDS confirms that purple box that you're seeing. So normally when you have a tornado warning, there is a red box. When that box turns purple, that means it's confirmed. And that icon is why it's confirmed. It's because our first alert radar is saying there is definitely a high likelihood that there is an actual tornado on the ground. So Jim, while you were talking, that TDS popped up. So that's going to be a concern as this storm eventually moves into the northern portions of Troup County and the southern portions of Heard County. I will say it looks like this will move north of the LaGrange area, but if you drive in North Troup County along Monty Bridge Road, that is a major road up there in Troup County and going into Heard, just south of Franklin. That's a very dangerous situation that is developing for you, Jen, as this moves toward the northeast at about 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, and looking at the chat here, as you said, Rodney, a confirmed tornado on the ground here. And when we see that TDS on radar, that's as good as seeing it with your own eyes here, right along the Georgia-Alabama border. So near Standing Rock, near Finley, this is heading towards Evans Mill. If you are in Evansville, if you live near the Georgia-Alabama border, this is heading in your direction. And these tornadoes have a history of staying on the ground for a while. So don't think just because you're maybe a little further from where it is right now that you're safe. You need to stay with our coverage. Stay with us this afternoon. We will let you know when it's safe to go out of your safe spot, but we're also going to tell you when you need to get to your safe spot. And now is that time if you are in Troup County, if you are in Heard County. Now, of course, we want to keep talking about this tornado, but I do want to quickly show you, we do have brand new severe thunderstorm warnings that do include Fulton County, include Coweta County, and it's a fairly large area because this storm system here very capable of producing damaging straight line winds. So even beside that tornado risk, certainly 60-mile-an-hour winds possible. Douglas County, you are included in this. Carroll County, you are included in this. Portions of Coweta County, portions of southwestern Fulton County under this severe thunderstorm warning. And this is until 4 o'clock here as this races to the east-northeast at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. These are moving very quickly. And look at the tremendous rainfall here moving through Cobb County, moving through Douglas County, moving through Carroll County here. We're seeing a lot of lightning. We're seeing very heavy rain and strong gusty winds as this barrels closer and closer to downtown Atlanta. So already starting to rain right now on the west wall of 285 near Six Flags along I-20. It's already raining buckets. It's only going to get worse. I want to track this for you because, again, this is a severe thunderstorm moving through Austell right now, moving to Mableton just before 3:30, Palmetto just after 3:30, Fairburn, Union City around 3:37. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that's going to move over your area around 3:40. College Park, 3:40. Tyrone, East Point, Atlanta, 3:42. We're going to see the strongest part of this thunderstorm approaching your area. Tremendously heavy rainfall with this line here. Strong gusty winds as well, possibly damaging winds. Hickory Forest, through English Heights, through Douglasville, right over the city of Douglasville in Douglas County, moving through Church Street, Spring Street, Campbellton Street, Warren Drive, Dallas Highway. Again, very highly populated areas. And it's the busiest time of day for many of you. Kids are being dismissed from school. This is why many of the schools across North Georgia and the metro have canceled after school activities. It's because of this very dangerous system moving through. Want to update you here on this tornado warning. This is for Troup County and far southern Heard County. So this is south of Franklin. I know it's pouring down rain. It's windy in Franklin. It's going to get worse. So watch out, Franklin. This is coming. But the actual tornado is south of that area. It's for Troup County and northern Troup County, southern Heard County, where we're watching here, and right now that tornado right on the Alabama-Georgia border. So Georgia, this is next door, moving in right now as we speak, moving into Troup County. So Standing Rock, Evansville, tornado right over you right now, right over Evansville. State Line Road, there it goes. And you can see in real time, this is updating with each radar sweep. You are seeing this in real time. Really can't get more accurate, more exact than what you're seeing right here. State Line Road, Rock Mills Road. That tornado will be here in seconds if you are near Rock Hills Road. And again, this is why I cannot stress this enough. You need to get to your safe spot before the tornado arrives. Do not react. You want to go to that safe spot before the tornado gets there. This is a very fast-moving system. You're not going to have time if you wait until it's over you. You want to get to your lowest floor. Stay away from windows. Go to an interior room. Wear a bicycle helmet. Your safety is our number one concern, our number one priority. So we just want to make sure we give you all the tools so that you and your family, your friends, your neighbors can be safe during this very potentially dangerous weather event that is unfolding right now across not only Alabama, but moving into Georgia. We're going to head over to you, Rodney, and tell us what you're seeing. I know you're really dissecting the radar there and watching the chat.
Yeah, and one thing that just changed here for us, Jen, is they have now put part of Troup and Heard County into that purple box that I was telling you about before. So remember, that purple box is different from red because that means that we're dealing with the confirmed tornado. So after our TDS popped up on First Alert Radar, then they decided to change the color of that box from red to purple, again indicating a more dangerous situation for those of you north of LaGrange in Troup County and also going into the southern portions of Heard County. I do want to point out it's super important to know if you are in LaGrange right now, you are under this tornado warning, but the worst of this storm is actually north of you. So I'm going to zoom in here for those of you in Troup County to give you a better idea what I'm talking about. So here's that purple box. And if you are in LaGrange, now it's actually moving straight for LaGrange. So just north, the northern side of LaGrange, Highway 23, that is definitely a very strong storm that is headed your way. And also the southern portions of Heard County. So LaGrange basically along Highway 29, Highway 27, and I-85 even, which is further east of LaGrange. But you are on the hook here as this very dangerous storm moves toward the north and east. So Jen, just wanted to update you on the fact that they did change the color of that box to purple to include Troup and Heard counties. Yeah, confirmed. And that's not what we want to see, a confirmed tornado. And again, a lot of times these are rain wrapped. We see that a lot in the south. When we get these tornadoes, it's raining very heavily. So most of the time, it's very hard to actually see the tornado with your eyes just because it's raining right around the tornado. So we really rely on radar very heavily to give us these signatures and let us know that a tornado is on the ground. And when you see this purple box, that does mean a confirmed tornado on the ground. So this is not speculation at this point. There is a tornado on the ground right now in Troup County, moving into far western portions of Troup County. So again, a potentially dangerous, devastating tornado on the ground in Troup County
right now, and it's moving very quickly to the northeast, anywhere between 40 to 50 miles an hour. And here it is right here. You can see again, whenever you see the green and the red there, very easy spot here. This is LaGrange. So you know LaGrange, popular city. We've got lots of things happening in LaGrange, including Great Wolf Lodge, a lot of the water slides, the hotel there. If you've been there, great place to visit. Certainly not when there's a tornado coming through. It does look like the tornado will stay just north of the city of LaGrange. But if you are north of LaGrange, near 27, certainly you need to be in your safe spot right now until this tornado warning expires. A very fast moving tornado. And not only that, it's a tornado we've been tracking for hours as it moved through Alabama. Want to give you the very latest track of where this tornado is here. So again, here's the rotation, here's LaGrange. This is I-85. So I'm trying to get your bearings here because I know sometimes when we zoom in, it's hard to see exactly where we are. So LaGrange, the tornado where we're seeing rotation, although it does look like that rotation is weakening, thankfully. But this is moving towards Hogansville. It does appear that it's going to stay just south of Hogansville, but still stay in your safe spot in Hogansville. And then potentially, if it remains, if it sticks together, then potentially moving into Spalding County and the city of Griffin. Now, just because we're watching this start to weaken here on radar does not mean it will stay that way. We see that a lot with these systems where they have that very tight, well-defined rotation, and then it weakens, but then 5 minutes later, it strengthens again. So it doesn't mean that you can let your guard down. It just means you need to watch that much closer because certainly it could re-intensify as it moves east. Again, just north, expected to be just north of the city of LaGrange. Meteorologist Patrick Pete with us as well. Patrick, this is not good for us.
It is not. We've been diving into these dynamics all day, actually all week, and everything that we expected to unfold, unfortunately, is occurring. And folks, this is why we First Alert. This is a better time than any to download our First Alert weather app, because as you are making your way to whatever your safe place is, whether that is a basement, whether that is a closet, whether that is a bedroom or a bathroom that is away from all exterior windows and doors, you can take that app with you, and that app will guide you through this storm. We're here with you. Calm heads prevail, and we're going to walk you through minute by minute every update that we get as this system continues to push on out towards the north and east. And we've been tracking this entire line of storms as they are making their way through the area. We have essentially severe thunderstorm warnings that are moving through portions of Walhalla right now, as well as moving towards the metro Atlanta area. Peachtree City right now, severe thunderstorm warning angled in your direction. We're talking about some pretty strong winds, 58, 60 miles per hour winds. We know what weather is like. I'm new to you, but I am not new to the South. It does not take a strong wind to knock down trees or power lines. And with these breezy winds, these gusty, damaging winds and heavy rain, the ground is loosened for power outages to be a thing. Once again, we are wall to wall in extended coverage because of this tornado warning. And we've been watching this atmosphere. And let me tell you how this has played out. We've had southerly flow out ahead of this system. The winds have been a little bit breezy. I don't know if you stepped outside today, but it was juicy. That's my word to describe it. I felt sticky. Dew points were high out there. Very, very moist environment. That is gasoline. We always talk about storm fuel, CAPE, all of those other terms. That's the energy that these thunderstorms tap into. Strong southerly flow at the surface, and then we have in the mid-levels winds coming out of the west. That's why we say this term shear. We say that there's some shear in the atmosphere. Shear is essentially just winds that are shifting with height. And we have that, we have the energy, and that is what is causing these thunderstorms to fire up. That is why we are tracking this tornado warning right now that is extended for portions of Troup County as well as Heard. And we can look at lots of different tools here. I want to look at the threats within this thunderstorm because you know about the rotation. You see the rain, you see the lightning, but there's also some substantial hail in this as well. Now, admittedly, the way hail works with our radar system is it's looking at items falling out of the ground, and it is essentially measuring how large those items are. Now, you know it's humid out there, so normally I would subtract a little bit off of the sizes that radar is estimating, but we're getting some measurements of some hail for portions of Troup County that's looking at roughly 1 inch in diameter. So if you're about to get out on the roadways, listen, we have lots of school closings that we're getting getting about in the newsroom. We're going to have that list for you in just a second here. But you're about to get out and about. Go and pick up your kids, or maybe you're going home, getting out of the weather, getting off work and heading for your evening commute, grabbing some food. We have hail, we have heavy rain, we have lightning, we have damaging winds that are going to knock down some trees. So we're starting to hear some of that energy closer to the station here. But we have also tornado warning cell and lots of other thunderstorms that are firing up, producing not only heavy rain, but there's some small hail that's making its way closer to the metro area as well. Part of the reason why that cell that's just to the west of Atlanta is warned, not only for the wind, but because we're also picking up on some radar indicated hail droplets that are roughly about 1 inch in diameter. And we can zoom in street level. This is moving over Chapel Hill Road, Douglas Estates. This is going to be in the 5 Notch Acres community. This is moving towards the east, so that's going to head towards Campbell over the next few minutes. Lots of different weather elements at play here. Jen,
yep.
We have a long evening
A lot. And yeah,
and
much of the metro is under a warning. I want to read some of the information coming in here because we are getting reports from, this is from the Troup County Emergency Manager, that they are receiving reports of a tornado on the ground. Many people have spotted it near South State Line Road. So in Troup County, reports, several people calling the 911 and the emergency manager reporting that they are reporting seeing this tornado on the ground in Troup County. Also, we're getting reports in Cobb County. A tree fell on a house. So again, even Cobb County, you're not in the tornado warning, but we have incredibly strong winds. We're getting reports. This is in Cobb County, a report of a tree on a house. This is Kennesaw Drive and Trailwood Drive. So Kennesaw Drive, Railroad Drive, we're getting reports of a tree that actually fell on a house. So even if you're not in the warned area, we have these strong damaging winds. I think it's a safe bet. You want to go to the lowest level of your home because these winds are no joke, especially if you live around large trees, which much of Atlanta, we're a city and a forest, big trees everywhere. You get these 50, 60 mile an hour winds. The saturated soil, they come down very easily here. So you don't want to be in that house as a tree is falling down. And again, I'm reading this in real time. So that is why I'm looking off the screen, because I want to give you this information here. Reports in Douglas County at Thornton and Oak Ridge Line Drive, reports of a power line down. So again, lots of storm reports starting to come in. Let's see. And I'm reading as we go. Hail, we're getting reports of hail in Cherokee County. We're getting reports in Cobb County, trees down on Burnt Hickory Road. We're getting reports, and now the emergency manager receiving multiple reports of tornadoes. And again, that's for Troup County, TDS South LaGrange. So yeah, so we're getting all this information, and we do have brand new video for you coming in. And this is Cherokee County, correct, Kelsey? Is this Cherokee County? Yes, so Cherokee County of hail falling in Cherokee County. So this is a very dynamic system. We're getting all the things. We're getting the hail. We're getting the strong winds. We're getting the blinding rain. We're getting the lightning. And unfortunately, we are getting, a new circulation near LaGrange. So let's go to LaGrange after we see this video. This is in Cherokee County. Again, hail coming down in Cherokee County. So this even far from where we have that tornado warning, certainly severe storms rolling through that area. Let's get to LaGrange now, Rodney. Let's zoom on in because we're getting reports here. New circulation looks like just south of the previous circulation here. And again, this is still a tornado, confirmed tornado warning. And again, I told you, emergency manager, this city, Troup County, the emergency manager in Troup County and LaGrange, they are getting phone calls, repeated phone calls of confirmed tornadoes on the ground. It doesn't get more dangerous and more serious than that. And you can see it here. This is Greenwich Woods Estates. Just south of that, over South Davis Road, confirmed tornado, not only confirmed on radar, but confirmed from the emergency manager, confirmed with the local people in Troup County who are seeing it on the ground. And this is moving east. So Stewart Road, 109, moving towards Callaway Church Road, South Davis Road. Again, tornado on the ground, confirmed tornado, potentially dangerous, devastating tornado on the ground. Rodney, I mean, and again, we saw it weaken, and then a new circulation developed just south of that.
Exactly, so that's super important. We're tracking now two separate tornado warnings. The first, what we have been following, was north of LaGrange. So that's what you see, the purple box at the top of the screen. But what Jen is talking about now, this is brand new that just developed south of LaGrange. So this is an entirely new area that we're starting to track now. Also, as you mentioned, Jen, a confirmed tornado warning.
Yeah, and again, and this looks very similar to the one earlier when you had those really bright colors here. Confirmed tornado on the ground. So now we have two separate warnings for two separate areas of rotation in the exact same county. So this is how dangerous right now in Troup County. Please get to your safe spot immediately. Do not go out on the roads. Do not go run errands. Do not go get the mail. You need to stay in your safe spot until this clears. This is moving towards Williamson at 419. This is Griffin, very populated area, Griffin here. 427 heading in your direction if this stays together. And just judging on history alone, I don't expect this to weaken or go away completely anytime soon. When this moved through Alabama, it stayed on the ground as a tornado for miles and miles and miles and miles. It was not a 2-minute situation. So certainly that could be the case for us here in Georgia as well. As Patrick was saying, it's very soupy outside. It's very humid. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So these storms have all the fuel they need to not only develop, but maintain themselves as they roar across North Georgia. Right now, Troup County, if you are in Troup County, I'm sure you hear it. It is loud. Please stay in your safe spot until cleared to do so. And even north of Troup County, look at this giant severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15. This goes all the way from Forsyth County through Fulton County, moving into DeKalb County, moving into northern portions just north of Forest Park, including the airport. This is going to make its way into the airport in the next minutes. I mean, the airport's right here. The airport's here, right along this line. That is where we have those strong, potentially damaging winds. It's right along this line. This is the kind of system that puts the chairs, blows them across the yard. Cushions are scattered across the yard. This is moving to Union City, 343. Dunwoody, 343. Again, the heart of Atlanta. This is moving over the heart of Atlanta right now. Brookhaven, 345. Right over Mercedes-Benz Stadium at 346. College Park at 347. Chamblee, 347. East Point, 347. Johns Creek, 347. Atlanta, 347. So this line here, severe thunderstorm warning for pretty much the entire city of Atlanta, including Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I fully suspect that there is a ground stop in place. If not, it will be shortly. If you have a flight leaving in the next hour, probably not going to happen as this line pushes through. Again, very strong winds as this roars east over Atlanta. And then not only that, we're watching that tornado as well. Rodney, I know you're watching the chat very closely. These damage reports, they are coming in quickly. What else are you seeing?
Yeah, Jen, so our biggest concern right now is this storm that we have been watching in Troup County. As you mentioned, we have two separate tornado warnings now. So the first warned storm, which is north of LaGrange, that particular storm is starting to weaken. And Jen, you brought up a great point. Even if it weakens, that doesn't mean that the threat is over, because oftentimes these storms could redevelop. So what I'm going to do is switch back over to our velocity mode. As a reminder, that is how we are able to actually detect these rotations in the storm. You can see that the original storm that we're tracking, and what I'm going to do, Jen, is give you a loop to give you some perspective over what we were tracking in North Troup County. Notice how you're going to see it very quickly as that little rotation was moving into North Troup County. That started to weaken, and at the same time, a newer rotation developed south and east of LaGrange. So our focus is going to shift a little bit to talk more about those of you in the eastern portions of LaGrange. I also want to point out Meriwether County, you are under a tornado warning now as well. That initial tornado warning was for Troup and Heard County, but Meriwether County, you are in this warning. So if you are north of Greenville along Highway 27, as of the past 5 minutes, you are under this confirmed tornado warning as well. And Jen, as you mentioned, for the city of Atlanta, just a heads up, even though we're not seeing any tornadic activity here right now, some very strong winds are about to move through Atlanta as we
Where is it
speak.
again?
We're already seeing some reports of some smaller trees that are starting to come down. So just a heads up in the city of Atlanta and DeKalb County, you're not seeing that tornado threat at the moment, but you are definitely about to see some really strong winds, Jen.
Yeah, we're getting reports of a building collapse. This is off Oak Ridge on Cobb side of road. So again, this is all coming in. The emergency manager, we're getting reports in LaGrange of a building collapse in LaGrange off Oak Ridge on the Cobb side of the road. So certainly very dangerous situation. We do have our first alert road tracker driving towards this, moving towards Coweta County. And we're gonna take you there now to see what it looks like on the roads, because certainly this is not what you wanna be driving in right now. Potentially very dangerous situation. You can see the sky, very heavy downpours, strong winds, and a very popular time on the roads right now with just a mess of what's happening this afternoon. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground moving through Troup County. And now we're getting reports from the emergency manager that we're getting reports of collapsed buildings in Troup County. So of course, we're following this damage to give you the latest. We are getting reports, though, that the rotation has weakened with that storm in Troup County. And again, we saw this earlier, so it doesn't mean it's over. We saw this earlier with the first tornado that was moving through Troup County. But again, it looks very different. You're not seeing that big area of bright green and red right next to each other. We're still seeing some rotation, certainly still seeing some rotation. It's just a little weaker, which is what we like to see. That's a good sign. But this is still certainly a very dangerous situation as it moves north of Greenville, north of Woodbury. This is south of Hogansville. In the Hogansville, you are in the warning for the area that previously had rotation. That went a lot weaker, but certainly things are starting to improve here, but it doesn't mean you can let your guard down, because we've seen this system produce a tornado and weaken and then re-intensify and weaken. That's the trend we've been seeing here throughout the entire afternoon. And this is moving towards the Williamson area at 4:22, towards Griffin at 4:30. Again, possible tornado heading towards the Griffin area. We do have that active tornado warning in place here for Troup County and southern portions of Heard County here, right over. This is over Mountainville Road, near Mountainville Hogansville Road, Keith Road, LaGrange Highway. That is where we have that possible tornado on the ground. We've got Patrick Pete here as well. Patrick, first week here, and this is what we've got.
I keep checking my calendar because from everywhere that I've lived in forecast weather, this feels like a springtime setup.
It feels like April. This is not a January. In January, we get those short weekly. These are big tornadoes for January here in the South.
I was watching in December,
right?
-12, -13 degree wind chills, and now we're talking about temperatures near 70, dew points in the upper 60s. It's a very soupy environment, and we've seen this setup coming for days. I don't know if you're new to our First Alert weather brand, but this is why we First Alert, to give you heads up. Hey, listen, down the pipeline, we're seeing a setup that could spawn one tornado, could spawn one severe thunderstorm warning, could move in during your afternoon, evening commute. We want to let you know so that you're not caught off guard, leaving out of work, driving down the interstate, and seeing scenes like we just showed you out there. This is a very dangerous setup here. We have been tracking these purple polygons, which we have been reiterating.
I'm going to interrupt you real quickly. We're getting reports of a tornado on the ground very close to the airport right now, 285 near College Park. So sorry, Patrick. We'll get back to that. But Rodney, let's zoom into this. Again, tornado on the ground very close to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And producers, if you can pull up, I have the camera up at Hartsfield-Jackson International. Can we pull that live camera up so we can see? And we are spinning it around to see if we can see it from here. And there we go. So we are getting reports again of there's now a tornado warning for DeKalb and Fulton counties until 4:15. A tornado on the ground right now, very close to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
And I will say, Jen, that is coming. That report is coming from a National Weather Service meteorologist. So that's a big deal. Normally when we get these reports, we have to verify them, but that report of a tornado on the ground is coming from a National Weather Service meteorologist. A very dangerous situation here at Atlanta Airport.
Yeah, and this tornado warning, again, this is for DeKalb and Fulton counties. Tornado on the ground near Hartsville Jackson International Airport. This is just east of 285, approaching the airport, very close to College Park. This is a live camera we have at the airport watching a potential tornado on the ground. If you are in College Park, if you live near the airport, if you are in East Point, take cover immediately. A tornado on the ground. This is a tornado warning. That means a tornado is on the ground. DeKalb County and Fulton County until 4:15. You've got 30 minutes. I will let you know when it is safe to come out and to go to out of your safe spot. But for now, you need to get to your safe spot. Again, City of Atlanta. This is the rotation. Zooming on in here. This is East Point here. So it looks like it's moving just east of East Point. This is College Park, right along 29, 139. City of Atlanta right now, the downtown connector, pouring down rain. We can hear it on our roof here. We are in Atlantic Station in Midtown, but obviously just south of our area. That is where we have a tornado on the ground. Again, this is near Hartsville Jackson International Airport. Fulton County, DeKalb County, you are under a tornado warning. Please, please get to your safe spot immediately. You saw how fast this tornado warning popped up, how quickly this developed. You need to get to your safe spot immediately. Rodney?
Yeah, I want to point this out because what I'm doing while you're talking, Jen, I'm actually looking for the circulation. So this is something that may have been reported. The circulation we cannot find on First Alert Radar. We just got this message from the National Weather Service. I'm just going to read it to you verbatim here.
Yes.
That's something that may have very quickly touched down and may have already lifted. We don't know that to be sure. But again, that's coming from a National Weather Service meteorologist. A brief tornado may have already lifted on I-285 in the Camp Creek Parkway area. And I will say, I mean, this is what you're looking at live right now on First Alert Radar. Jen, Patrick, I am still looking for the circulation. That happens a lot, Jen, this time of year, where we can get these quicker tornadoes that can sometimes touch down so fast, it's tough to pick up on radar.
By the time you react, it's already gone. And that's what we normally see in January. But certainly it's already done it once. It can do it again, and it can do it in a different area. So as this storm is approaching, again, that big yellow box, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. The wording on these severe thunderstorm warnings is for damaging winds, for large hail, for a severe thunderstorm, but it also says tornado possible. So even within these severe thunderstorm warnings, we're getting that verbiage of tornado possible. So even if you're not in an active tornado warning, does not mean you could not see a tornado from these storms. So don't let that give you a false sense of security. Keep in mind, last week, I think, all in all, when all was said and done, we had 5-week confirmed tornadoes, and none of those were within a tornado warning. They were actually outside of the warnings that we had. So a lot of times we get these quick little spin-ups even outside the warning, because by the time you issue the warning, it's already too late. So again, very important. That is why you need to stay weather aware. That is why you need the First Alert Weather app, so that it will alert you if you do have a severe thunderstorm heading in your direction, and you can get in your safe spot. And just as important, you can get out of your safe spot once that storm passes. Again, we're looking possible rotation. Again, when you hear tornado at the airport, not what you want to hear in the city of Atlanta, the world's busiest airport. Not a good thing to hear in the afternoon. And Patrick, we're looking for this rotation. We're not seeing it, but again, we can't let our guard down.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yes, Ruddy.
Quickly, go to Max 1. So I have, I'm messing with the elevation of our scan. What I'm trying to do here is actually find this rotation for you, and I'll let you guys analyze this as well. Right near Sylvan Hills, there is a bit where red, and if we can go to Max 2, I'm sorry, there is a bit of where the red and the green is starting to come together between Sylvan Hills and Lakewood Heights. This is not very definite, it's not very strong, but I imagine that is what they're talking about for what could have been a brief spin up there. Again, just northeast of East Point, Sylvan Hills, Lakewood Heights. That is basically, Jen, the south side of the connector, right around the Langford Parkway area, right before you hit 85, as if you're going to Atlanta Airport again. That's the best thing that I can find, and of course now they just canceled the warning.
Okay,
that's
good.
what I was looking for.
and that's the important thing. That's what the Weather Service does. They'll cancel it as soon as that threat is over, so that you can go out of your safe spot. That is why these warnings are so critical. We're only going to tell you to go in that safe spot as long as necessary. Once it's safe to do so, we will give you that all clear. Still under a severe thunderstorm warning with that verbiage again of tornado possible, and we're still seeing blinding. Can you imagine driving through this right now, Patrick?
I mean, it's deafening. It's deafening. In my ear.
Yeah, and we're tracking, and these are fast movers.
Yes, we're talking about 50, 55 miles per hour movement on these storms. So folks that are in North Decatur, this is moving in momentarily. Peachtree Corners, you have about 5 minutes before this is moving through your neighborhood. Listen, we talk about these storms and these rotation signatures that we're tracking on radar. Jen, you alluded to it earlier, as well as Rodney. This happens very fast sometimes. What we get with these thunderstorms is contraction and expansion. Whenever a thunderstorm contracts, the rotational signature contracts, you can get that rotation stretching down to the ground. Keep in mind, everything that we're showing you here, especially whenever we switch to what we call storm relative velocity or base velocity, is looking at wind. So we're able to pick up on these rotational signatures by looking at the winds. That is letting us know the direction. This green here indicating winds toward the radar, red away. We're in extended coverage now because of this particular rotation. This is Todd Road. In between Todd Road and the intersection of Mount Pilgrim Road, we're getting a significant rotational signature. And we can try to query this before it shifts. We're 55 in one direction, 44 in another. That's nearly 100 miles per hour. When we say gate to gate wind shear, that's how fast it is rotating. We're able to look at our radar, switch to different views, and pick up on the winds. And this is why we're concerned for folks that are in this area, because this is moving towards the northeast. I want to get a slightly larger view so that I can give some folks a little bit of lead time here. And we can shift this a little bit, and we can track this rotational signature out towards the northeast. Because it's moving towards the northeast, I'm going to go about 55 miles or so, because this is moving at roughly 55 miles per hour. Folks that are in Williamson, you need to be in your safe place with your First Alert weather app in hand, listening to us as we guide you through this storm, walking you through when it is safe for you to come out. If you're in Griffin, Orchard Hill, roughly 15, 20 minutes before this is moving into your neck of the woods. Lovejoy, this is going to arrive in about 30 minutes. And if you're in Stockbridge, you need to be telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family in your house, hey, listen, we have a storm that has been on the ground for nearly 3 hours, producing a confirmed tornado or multiple confirmed tornadoes, some of which have been reported as being large and destructive. That is going to be moving into our neighborhood. Maybe it will contract more and intensify. Maybe it will expand, but we're still going to get is these heavy winds. So whether you're in a severe thunderstorm warning area like most of Metro Atlanta or in this tornado warned area, you need to treat all of this as the same, because winds moving at 70, 60 miles per hour in one direction, knocking down trees, does the same amount of damage as those same winds rotating in a circle.
Yeah, and I do want to update on these tornado warnings. We did give the all clear, Fulton County, DeKalb County, no longer under that tornado warning. And now Troup County, I know that box is still blinking, but you are now in the clear. That storm has now moved out of your area. So the only county we have right now under a tornado warning is going to be Meriwether County. And it's that storm you were tracking there, Patrick, here for that possible tornado moving through portions of Meriwether County, a very fast moving system here with that tornado warning in place until 4:15. So about 15 to 20 minutes, tornado warning in place for Meriwether County. And again, you see that circulation. This is north of Greenville, moving towards Griffin if it maintains its rotation. Either way, Griffin, you're going to see incredibly strong winds, hail, very heavy rain. So if you're in Griffin, you need to be extra aware here as this possible tornado gets closer and closer. But right now, till 4:15, Meriwether County, right over Roosevelt Highway, Alley Road, Rocky Mount Road, Caldwell Road, Callaway Road. If you are in this area, if you have friends and family in this area, give them a call, text them right now, make sure they are in their safe spot. Again, this is a tornado, and this is a tornado warning for a confirmed tornado. So confirmed tornado, not only is it confirmed as a history of producing tornadoes here as it moved through Alabama, then north of that, almost all of Metro Atlanta is under a severe thunderstorm warning with possible tornadoes as it roars through. Very, very popular. We're talking about the heart of Atlanta getting slammed right now with blinding rain, frequent lightning, and strong damaging winds. We do have a GDOT camera. I want to show you what it looks like on the highways. This is I-85, or very close to I-85. This is in Brookhaven near Druid Hills Road. And again, these are the folks probably having to go pick up their kids from school, get the kids from daycare, pick them up from their activities here. And this is what everyone is dealing with here as they try to maneuver in these very strong winds. If you have a high profile vehicle, if you drive an SUV, this is the kind of weather where it just tugs on your steering wheel. You're white knuckling it. And it's also incredibly difficult to see ahead of you, even sometimes 20 feet ahead of you. It's very hard to see when the rain is coming down so heavily. We want to see what it looks like at the airport right now. So it does look like here, the storms right now moving right over Hartsville Jackson International as we speak. So there's that camera. You see it there, how things are looking at the airport. This camera here in particular is pretty stable. It usually doesn't shake very much, but you can see it kind of trembling. That's how strong the winds are right now. The winds there trembling that camera at Hartsville Jackson International. And I'm pretty sure any camera we pull up in Metro Atlanta looks like this right now, blinding rain with that lightning, with the strong damaging winds. Rodney, I know you're getting the very latest here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings for almost all of Atlanta. Still watching Meriwether County for tornado, confirmed tornado. Just a very active afternoon.
Yeah, so some new information, Jen. We're going to go back up into Metro Atlanta. First of all, just got another message from the National Weather Service, and you've been saying this, but very dangerous winds moving through Atlanta as we speak. Even though you're not under a tornado warning, these are winds that are up to 60 miles per hour, which is why we are under a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you are in DeKalb County right now, if you are in Lithonia, if you are in Tucker, if you are in Stone Mountain, brace yourself for those stronger winds that are starting to move in. Also, Jen, a brand new severe thunderstorm warning has been extended eastward. So I'm going to pop up some of the counties that have been issued under this warning. Severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County until 4:45. That also includes Gwinnett County and Hall County and the northern portions of Forsyth County, in addition to Banks County. We'll track this toward the east at about 55 miles per hour because, Jen, these are the storms that are producing the damaging winds as they move toward the east. And this is in Metro Atlanta. It's in the city of Atlanta, but as you can see, it extends even further north than there. So for those of you in East Georgia, even extending over into the Athens area of UGA, just a heads up to you, that's moving your way. Some strong winds in addition to the heavy rain. Lilburn at 4:03, Lawrenceville at 4:10. It's 4:01 right now for perspective. Decula 4:13, very strong winds headed your way. Grayson at 4:15, Commerce at 4:23, and Jefferson at 4:23 as well. Again, for us in Metro Atlanta, it is a significant wind threat, even though we're not under a tornado warning, but that tornado warning does continue for Meriwether County, Jen.
Yeah, and the tornado warning has been extended. It's now Meriwether, Pike, and Spalding counties. So Meriwether, you've been under this tornado warning. It has now been extended into Pike and Spalding counties. This is until 4:45. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. When you see the purple box, confirmed tornado on the ground, Meriwether, Pike, Spalding County until 4:45. Get to your safe spot immediately. Confirmed tornado on the ground. And this is a very fast moving tornado moving east at 50 miles an hour. Rotation, very obvious on radar here, where you see the greens and the reds, tracking that for you, heading towards Brooks here at 4:19, Williamson at 4:21, Zebulon 4:23, Griffin. We've been tracking this way before it's even getting that way, but Griffin heading to you very shortly. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground. So now that tornado warning has been extended into Pike County and Spalding County until 4:45. Want to show you exactly where this tornado is here. So Luthersville Road near Callaway Road, Bill Todd Road, Alvaton Road, tornado on the ground. Big tornado on the ground, moving quickly to the east. So Rodney just circled it. Confirmed tornado here south of Gardner Road, Bill Todd Road, near Worcester, Callaway Road. And again, moving east towards 75, towards Griffin, towards Spalding County. So this is moving towards out of Meriwether into Spalding County, Pike County, where we do have that tornado warning. So Spalding County here, Pike County here, Meriwether County is where that tornado is located right now. But we issued these warnings ahead of the storm. So although it is currently in Meriwether County, it is moving into Pike County and into Spalding County. Let's check the debris here, Rodney. We also have a tool on the radar where we can actually put look for debris, which basically the radar beam here scans the skies and looks for debris here in the sky from a possible tornado. And there it is, Luthersville Road. This is what we call a debris signature. So we're looking, and it's exactly where the tornado is located. Yeah, when you see the tornado on radar and then you change it to look for the debris that's flying through the sky, literally they're right on top of each other. It doesn't get more confirmed than this. So not only do we have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but this is confirming that we have debris flying through the sky right now. And this is moving quickly to the east at 50 miles an hour. So debris in the sky, that means damage, whether it be shingles, tree limbs, whatever it may be, things are flying in the sky from this confirmed tornado as it moves out of Meriwether County into Pike County and Spalding County. This is right over Callaway Road, Garner Road, Bill Todd Road, Alps Road. Again, this is debris floating, flying in the sky from this potentially very strong, and in this case, I think it's safe to say a damaging tornado, destructive tornado, as it picks up debris and is just hurling it here as it moves east. And this has been on the ground. We've been watching these. They've been on the ground ever since they've been through Alabama. Maybe they've weakened time and again, but then they come back. Patrick.
I'm getting a report from Fred at the airport.
Okay.
Peak wind, 56 miles per hour. So that's some strong wind. We were talking about that warning, those severe thunderstorm winds up to 60. 56, that is doing some damage. Heavy rain out there moving across metro Atlanta right now, and we're continuing to see this rain come down in droves. It is coming down very heavy. We're at 4 o'clock. Folks are about to get on the roads. If they weren't picking up their kids already, folks are about to start getting off work. And on top of the tornado warning that we're tracking and all of the severe thunderstorm warnings, we have heavy rain that's going to cause some ponding on those roadways. Want to make sure that folks are being very cautious as they're getting out this evening. I want to take a look at something that I like to call our button that shows us all of our threats. And we can dive into these separate thunderstorms. Obviously, we know we're tracking that tornado warned cell, but we can look and see where the hail is largest. And we're picking up on some of that large hail right now. We can zoom in a little bit further and tell you exactly some of the neighborhoods that it's fallen over. And that is moving over Bear Creek Road towards Gordon Road, Rock House Road, and Luther Bailey Road, heading towards Sononia. Also picking up on some heavy hail near Garner Road. Let's see if we can get some of this in the metro. We can get a better idea of where some of that heavier rain and some of the stronger hail, some of the larger hail. The hail is a little bit smaller moving through Jewett Hills and Tucker and Lilburn. So that's not our major concern here. But what we are concerned about here is the heavy rain. And of course, those strong winds that have been gusting roughly at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. We can take a look at our counties by county power outage maps. And the brighter the colors, the more folks that are out of power right now. And we go to, we can call up Troup County right now and look at the percentage. Roughly 20% of households in Troup County are without power right now. That's one of our hardest hit communities right now where we've had that confirmed report of a tornado, Jen, and 20% of folks in that area have no power right now.
Yeah, and we're getting reports that 20%, it's 5,400 customers without power right now in Troup County. We're also getting reports here, so I'm gonna look off screen here for a minute, because again, this is how we get a lot of our information, our eyes and ears on the ground. We're using the radar here for potential, and Rodney, why don't you zoom into Meriwether County as I read some of these reports, because that's where we have a confirmed tornado, Meriwether County, but also want to let you know that the emergency manager in DeKalb County is saying that there was a tornado spotted on the ground at Caldwell Road and Reading Road. So again, we're going to have to assess that near Brookhaven, that people are spotting or did spot a tornado on the ground in DeKalb County in the Brookhaven area. So Meriwether County, that is is where we have our tornado warning, and I really want to dive into this here because obviously a very dangerous situation. We showed you the debris signature, we showed you the rotation here, and we're going to continue to watch this for you for as long as it is on the ground. So we're watching the rotation here. Certainly doesn't look as impressive as it did. We're still seeing the possible rotation. It's just not as strong. So this could mean a couple things. It's weakening. It may have lifted up. The center of circulation is broadening. All of those things are trending in the right direction. That's what we want to see. You don't want to see that bright green, that bright red right next to each other. So certainly we're seeing some improvement. But again, blinding rain, strong damaging winds with this storm here as it does continue to move to the east through Meriwether County, moving closer into Pike County and Spalding County, where we do have a tornado warning in place right now. So we see this looks like it's weakening a little. I'm still seeing rotation, but it looks like it's at least broadening out a little bit. Let's put the debris ball, the debris signature back on top here, Rodney, and see if things are looking a little better here.
It's not as easy to see the debris.
Correct.
So, and what you're looking for when we, the debris signature, and earlier we saw very bright colors there. Whenever those colors are super bright, it basically stands out. In fact, Jim, what I'll do, I'll just give you a loop so you can get an idea of what it looked like 30 minutes ago. But when it's not as pronounced as it was earlier, that is where we are starting to see what could be some weakening here. Okay, so there's a step-by-step, Jen, image of the debris and over Highway 74.
Yeah, when we were watching it, it looked like this. I mean, there was a tornado on the ground, and then, as you said, Rodney, weakening as it moves east. So these are good things. We're looking for the good things here. So certainly could still see a tornado on the ground. Stay in your safe spot in Meriwether County, Pike County, as this system, because even though we're seeing a broader center of circulation, although it is weakening on radar, it doesn't mean it could intensify or spin up just as quickly as it is starting to weaken. So we're looking at here 10% chance of hail within this storm, 10% chance of severe hail, fairly small hail, and the BTI is what we look at. The lower the number, the weaker the rotation. It goes up to 10. So once you start getting numbers like 7, 8, 9, 10, that is a confirmed fairly large tornado. So what this is telling me, all these tools put together, is that there may still be a tornado on the ground, but it is currently weakening, or that center of circulation is broadening. So those things make this weaken as it moves through the area. At a minimum, though, we're seeing very strong winds, heavy rain here as this continues to move east. This is just south of Sonoy, and this is moving towards Wolsey, Hampton, Griffin, Spalding County. You are under a tornado warning as soon as it is safe to get out of the lowest level of your home, the bottom story of your home, or a closet, a bathroom, an interior room without any windows. We will give you the all clear as soon as it is safe to do so. But as of now, you are under a tornado emergency for this confirmed tornado moving out of Meriwether into Pike and Spalding County here very quickly to the east at about 50 miles an hour. This is just south of Sonoy. Again, this is where we have that possible circulation here. This is Zebulon, so just northwest of Zebulon. This is Griffin, 19, just west of Griffin. If you have friends and family in the city of Griffin in Spalding County, please text them. I would text them if I could. If I had all of their numbers, I would do it myself, but this is the best I've got, is just doing it right here on TV for you. If you can do that for me, text your friends in Griffin, your family, let them know they need to go to their safe spot immediately. This tornado, confirmed tornado, heading towards Williamson at 419. Griffin, again, 427 towards Griffin. Orchard Hill at 428. Jackson at 445. Then towards Monticello just after 5 o'clock for a confirmed tornado on the ground. Rodney, this is a mess out here.
Yeah, it is indeed, Jen. This is certainly something that we have been telling you about for the last several days. We were concerned with this, and just to kind of set the stage, we had a very unusual day. You know that. Temperatures were near 70 degrees. It's super humid outdoors, and it's really a more spring-like pattern. So that's fuel for storms, and that's why we are seeing these spin-ups. And there have been a variety of them. Some of them have come up very quickly and gone away. But, Jen, when we came on, we were tracking the activity moving into Troup, and Meriwether County, and those were long track tornadoes, it appears to be, that came out of Alabama. Jim, what I want to do real quick is go back up to Atlanta. We are not under a tornado warning here, but just to give you an idea, we are still seeing some very strong winds that are moving east at about 55 miles per hour. I will say, if you are watching in Atlanta right now, in Cobb County, the worst is over for you. For like the rest of the day. You're going to continue to see some rain for a little while. Cobb County, the worst is over. Douglas County, the worst is over. Atlanta, the worst is over. However, Lithonia and DeKalb County, I'm going to zoom in for you. Strong winds moving your way as we speak. Up in Gwinnett County, Snellville, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds headed your way. Lawrenceville, DeKalb, those winds are headed your way. As we slide a little bit further toward the north, Gainesville, you are in it right now. It's getting ready to move away from you. But for those of you in Jefferson, a heads up to you. Winder, those winds have not hit you yet, and they're moving your way. So I'm going to track this to the east at about 55 miles per hour, and then we'll get back to the tornado warning. But
we have a brand new tornado warning, Rodney. So brand new tornado warning, Clayton, Henry, Newton, and Rockdale County. Again, a new tornado warning. And this is what we've been talking about. These storms, we watch these tornadoes develop and then they weaken, but we get a new one just like that very quickly. So brand new tornado warning. And again, this is for Clayton County, does include Clayton County. This is near the Stockbridge area. This is moving east. And I'm looking off for a minute here. This is for Clayton, Henry, Newton, and Rockdale County. This is until moving east at 40 till 4:45. 4:45. So till 4:45 here for a possible tornado very close to the Jonesboro area. Again, moving to the east very quickly, 40 to 50 miles an hour. This does include Henry County. This does include Clayton County here, very close to Jonesboro. And what we've seen is some fairly strong tornadoes. These are stronger than the ones we had last week. Last week, the confirmed tornadoes were EF0s, EF1s, 80-mile-an-hour winds. So we are seeing some stronger tornadoes. Not only that, they're staying on the ground for longer periods of time. So this is a very different situation compared to the tornadoes we had just last week. This is why we issued a first alert weather day. As soon as we knew we had the potential of tornadoes, severe weather during the afternoon, we sent that first alert, and then this transitioned into a first alert weather day as soon as everything was evolving to be a potentially dangerous situation. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Again, new tornado warning. This does include portions of Metro Atlanta, does include Henry County. This is for the southern metro for a possible tornado on the ground very close to the city of Jonesboro, moving very quickly. Want to zoom in here so we can show you exactly where this tornado is located, near Briargate 138 in the city of Jonesboro. So
and this is moving quickly, Jim. Like as soon as I zoomed in, this rotation moved almost into far east Clayton County.
Which is why we say don't wait until the tornado is over. These are incredibly fast-moving tornadoes, incredibly fast-moving storms. The pros are that it will move out quickly. So it moves in, it moves out quickly. That's certainly an advantage. The cons is you don't have a lot of time. Once the tornado's there, it is there. So you need to get to your safe spot before it arrives. These are very fast-moving tornadoes, and they are roaring to the east, anywhere between 40 to 50 to 55 miles an hour. This one here, this is I-75. I-75 here near Fielder Road, near Walt Stevens Road. This is approaching Stockbridge. Again, I-75, there are likely lots and lots and lots of cars right now on I-75 here. We're talking about the afternoon rush hour. And Patrick, you're tracking this as well.
Yeah, I was looking at that cell that we were just pointing out. There's a mobile home park right there in the line of where this tornado warned cell is moving. So if you were there, you need to get to a safe place. If there's a house down the street, I mean, this is a little bit of ways away from you. You have 5 minutes to get out of your house, get into a car, and drive east. Do not drive west. You need to get out of the line of this. You need to find a steady structure, whether that is a grocery store, a church, knock on the door. That mobile home park is not the place to be with this tornado warned cell. And those winds were very strong. I don't know if you noticed it, but Rodney actually queried those winds along that line. And even if, because this one is blinking red, so this lets us know that this is a radar indicated tornado, but not a radar confirmed. So at the very minimum, we have nearly 60 miles per hour wind gusts headed towards this area that's going to move move through not only these communities, but also that mobile home park. That's enough to do some damage out there. So you want to be in a stated structure. You have about 5 minutes to get out of the door and get to that place so that you and your family can stay safe as we're tracking. Yeah, that's 50 plus miles per hour wind gusts embedded here with the rotational signature that's pretty significant, Jen. It's pretty significant.
It's pretty significant, and that's what we've seen really throughout the entire afternoon. And unfortunately, we report on these tornadoes time and time and time again. And when you look at who gets the worst damage, it's those mobile home communities. These homes are not, they don't have the foundation. They're not held to the ground. And when you have a tornado of 80, 90, 100 plus mile-an-hour winds, that's no competition for these incredibly strong tornadoes. So a mobile home, we always talk about the interior room, the basement, the lowest level. There is no safe spot inside a mobile home, which is why Patrick was saying you need to get out of the mobile home before the tornado arrives. And again, these are very fast moving tornadoes, so you need to get out ahead of it if you are in the path of this confirmed tornado. This is Jonesboro, 19. Again, we showed you I-75. This tornado is about to cross over I-75 here, heading towards Stockbridge. You need to get to your safe spot immediately. We will clear you as soon as it is safe to do so. This is moving east here towards Porterdale at 451, Mansfield at 506, New Bern right around 509. This tornado is moving very quickly. This entire system has a history of producing several tornadoes, not only in Georgia, but in Alabama and really all over our west here as this moved closer. Strong damaging winds. I think the damage reports, they're already coming in quickly. Trees down, power lines down, power outages. More than 20% of the people in Troup County have no power right now. Think about that, 20%. 1 in 5 homes does not have power in Troup County right now. Also getting power outages. This in DeKalb County from DeKalb EOC, nearly 1,500 people without power in DeKalb County. DeKalb County isn't even in that tornado warning. DeKalb County, as far as we know, has not had a tornado. But even the rain and the strong damaging winds, they are enough to knock over these trees, these power lines. So even if you were not under one of these tornado warnings, you are getting damage, and we are getting reports of power outages. In fact, fairly significant power outages in Cobb County. 6,500 people. Is this for Cobb, Rodney, or Fulton?
65,000, that is Cobb. 5,000 down in LaGrange.
Okay.
And 1,000 in Atlanta. Patrick just pointing out these greens that you see, definitely, Patrick, those higher numbers.
Mm-hmm. Higher numbers. And for Fulton County, can we query Fulton County? 9,000 people without power in Fulton County. So you combine Cobb, Fulton, and this is just DeKalb, and keep in mind, DeKalb hasn't even, it's not even over DeKalb yet. We're looking at more than 15,000 people without power right now in Fulton, Cobb, and DeKalb. And again, that is even putting the tornadoes aside because many of these areas didn't necessarily get a tornado. But I mean, when you look at this line here, look at this. And what we look for, when you see the bright pink, you look at how close together the pink is to the green. So you see the color goes from green, yellow, pink, red, magenta. When it's very close like that, that tells us there are incredibly strong winds along this line, damaging winds along this line here. So this is a very dangerous situation, even here through the metro area as this crosses over the east wall of 285. We're going to track this because we're talking about straight line damaging winds right here on the east side of the perimeter. McDonough, 423, Loganville also at 423. Conyers area, 427. This is when the strongest winds will be over your area. Bethlehem, 431. Jackson, 434. Arcade at 435. Please stay inside. Do not go outdoors. Wait until this storm passes. I promise it is moving quickly. That is the good news. At least it's moving quickly. But until it's out of here, we cannot get out of our safe spots. And certainly we cannot turn our minds off to what is happening right now. Jonesboro, again, we have tornado warning for Jonesboro right over 19 here, heading towards Stockbridge, now moving through the Stockbridge. Here again, moving very quickly. This updates with every radar, scans the sky, does a circle here, and we get the updated look at how the radar is looking. Rodney, we're getting so many reports of damage, so many reports of power outages. Just a very dynamic situation. Oh, and now we have a TDS, Rodney.
Yeah,
this
and
is
Patrick
just north
pointed
of
this out.
Williamson.
This is by far the most dangerous on the map right now.
Yeah. And heading towards Griffin. This is the same one we've been tracking.
Yeah, same one. It's
the
just
same
it's
one.
tightened. That rotation is tightened.
And this is what we've been saying. It weakens, but you can't let your guard down because then it tightens once again. And again, this is north of Williamson. And moving towards Spalding County and Griffin. And it's the one we've been watching, Patrick.
It is very impressive. I actually want to zoom in a little bit more. We need to get some streets in that area, man. BTI, that's 7. That's the highest BTI that we've seen so far. Actually, all day. The ones that were in Arkansas, that was 6. So this is something that is very impressive, very concerning. Newman Road, Noonan Road, Malloy Road, Canaan Court, Bethel Lane, all of this area, folks, you need to be in place. This is going to be just south of Zatella, southeast and east of Zatella, south of Esmond. We're talking about a very tight, very aggressive, very strong rotational signature that we're seeing pop up on radar. These colors are very vibrant. The brighter the green, the stronger the winds. The deeper the reds, the stronger the winds. They're moving in opposite directions. I want to actually, if I can get my bar back, I know that it's a little off, but I want to, that's what I wanted, Rodney. I wanted the gate to gate. I saw 73 and another number. Goodness, that's going to put us over 100. So that's 60. 70 miles per hour wind gusts at a bare minimum. And then if we could query some of that red, 37, 46, this is roughly 115, 120.
82 just south of
82?
Road. So this is by far the strongest one.
Yeah, so we're talking about some serious rotation because there was a negative 70 and a positive 80. That's giving me 150 gate to gate wind shear crossing over Noonan Road, headed into the intersection of North Pine Hill Road, Abbey Road. That rotation is crossing. Can we track this out, Rodney, towards experimenting a little bit further? Highland Mills, this is a very aggressive rotational signature, folks. If you're in Highland Mills, Griffin, East Griffin, Walker Mill, you need to be in your safe place. Even though this polygon ends here, what the day has taught us that this is not over. So if you're anywhere downwind, Locust Grove, Jenkinsburg, you need to be sheltered in place in that lower level of your house, whether that is a basement, a closet, an interior room, a bathroom. You need to be away from all of those exterior doors and windows. You don't want to be in the front room, the living room. You don't want to be in the back, in the kitchen, near the window. You need to be bundled down, grab your phone, take your First Alert weather app with you. Listen, we're not stopping this. We've been streaming for almost an hour and a half, and we're going to continue to do this until this system clears all of our viewers. I know that some folks in Metro Atlanta are maybe wondering why we're not out of this, and that's because what we have is a particularly dangerous situation unfolding with this signature that we're seeing approaching Griffin.
Big city. I mean, a lot of people live in Griffin here, so we are moving towards Griffin. Again, confirmed tornado. This is Spalding County. I know there are several counties in this tornado warning. Sometimes it's hard to keep up. The one we are most concerned about right now, Spalding County, southwest of Griffin. If you are in Griffin, get to your safe spot immediately. This tornado is a confirmed tornado on the ground, and it looks incredibly strong and powerful. This is not a weak tornado. You need to go to your safe spot now. These winds are incredibly strong here, and we're seeing very well-defined rotation moving through Spalding County right now. Confirmed tornado. This is until 4:45. And let's put the debris on this, Rodney. This is right over and approaching the city of
Whoa, look at that. Yeah, that's huge right there. So that's a tornado.
This is a tornado
is
on the ground, approaching Spalding
very high
County.
Into the atmosphere.
So again, as we're saying, a couple things we're seeing with this tornado. Looking at the velocity, we see how incredibly strong it is. When you see blue, not only are we seeing a lot of debris way up in the atmosphere, we're seeing large debris. So the stronger the tornado, the larger the debris. So that's not lawn chairs. We're talking about roofs, possibly in the air right now in Spalding County, approaching Griffin. And as meteorologists, we do this all the time. Your heart sinks when you see this, because you know what is happening on the ground right now, and you know what it feels like for these people who are hearing this right now. It's just devastating.
And it's
right
racing.
now, it's racing. It is moving so quickly.
They're going to have to extend that
So
polygon.
quickly.
Pomona, Pomona,
This is
Locust
flying.
Grove, this is moving very fast. Do
Fast.
not wait for the alert on your phone to get to your safe place, folks. Sometimes these warnings will come down very quickly, like we've seen some of them over the last. You got to get there now.
Yeah, right now. And again, Griffin, this is right over the city of Griffin right now. Confirmed tornado on the ground. We're going to start seeing some of these images, unfortunately, coming from this. But not only are we seeing a very strong, destructive tornado on the ground right now, but we are seeing the debris in the sky from this tornado, what it's causing here. Locust Grove, this is heading your way at 438. Jenkinsburg, 442. Jackson at 446. Shady Dale, 513. I know we keep zooming in, we keep showing you these cities because it is imperative that you know exactly where this is located. It is imperative that you and your family, your neighbors, your friends, your loved ones are safe. Confirmed, strong, I'm going to say strong tornado. You don't get this kind of debris from a weak tornado. This is a strong, powerful tornado on the ground right now in Spalding County, moving over the city of Griffin. McIntosh Road, Old Atlanta Road, Pineview Road, Experiment, the city of Experiment. Again, debris flying through the sky here. All of our tools, we layer them on top of each other to show you exactly what's happening on the ground. And certainly, we have debris flying through the sky. Does look a little better when you start seeing less blue, but I mean, this is big. This is big, Patrick.
This is
very
a very
big.
large area. Highland Mills, Experiment. This is moving towards the northeast. This is very, very strong. Very, very strong, very, very buoyant atmosphere, very, very juicy, very strong winds. Unfortunately, we're getting radar hints at the damage that this is causing, and we're already sending our crews out there. So, of course, we're going to have some live coverage for this. We got to give them time to get there safely, of course. Folks, if you're anywhere in this area, if we could zoom out just a little bit, because I know that warning box hasn't been extended, but at the very minimum, it looks like it has been extended, maybe as a severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to have some strong winds, and I highly suggest that we probably see this extended at least as a tornado warning.
They have to extend this.
It's just a little bit too aggressive here. Locust Grove, Jenkins, this is moving in your general direction. It's moving in the east-northeast direction, looks like it, but it's moving fast. Folks, so if you're anywhere out ahead of this, I would even tell folks that are in Jackson to be on alert. Already have everybody kind of in the central place so that if this does get a little bit closer to your home, even though it looks to be missing you a little bit, if it moves into your neighborhood, you're already all assembled and you can move to that safe place, have that safe place already mapped out, and have that first alert weather. Listen, we've been saying first alert all week for the last few days, and this is why we first alert.
And although we don't have a tornado warning yet, if you are in Butts County, I am giving you that warning. You need to go to your safe spot right now. There is a very destructive, strong tornado on the ground moving through Spalding County, and this will be extended here into Butts County. Go to your safe spot right now. This storm is moving quickly to the east towards Butts County, currently in Spalding County, and I need you to be safe and get to that safe spot right now as this approaches your area. Moving very quickly towards Locust Grove. It's going to be there in minutes. Jenkinsburg at 441, Jackson at 445, Shady Dale at 512. Again, a very strong, destructive tornado on the ground right now in Spalding County, right over the city of Griffin. And we're still seeing the circulation there, Rodney, as this continues to move towards Pleasant Grove, towards Amelia Road, towards McDonough Road, and we're still picking up the debris. So 75. It's not as still.
75. Folks need to avoid 75 right now.
Yeah, definitely
it's
get off the roads.
Yeah, folks that are heading south.
And we're still seeing that debris.
I'm stepping through our debris detector here, frame by frame, to give you an idea of where the debris was its strongest over Experiment and Highland Mills. This was definitely a tornado. As Jen mentioned, this is basically telling us that that stuff was literally in the air because of this. But I'm going to continue to step this forward. I'm going to go frame by frame. You can see it's there, Jen. It has weakened. You're not seeing that blue anymore like you were seeing over Highland Mills and Experiment, but it is still definitely there. So a very dangerous situation there, even though in the last like 2 frames when I'm counting, Jen, the debris starting to come down a little bit, but that's still clearly, you can see that against everything else.
Yeah, and mark my words, unfortunately, we're going to have to send a crew to Experiment in Spalding County. I think we're going to see quite a bit of damage, unfortunately, over that area because this type of tornado doesn't go over an area, create a debris ball like that on radar, and it not create extensive damage. This really reminds me of the tornado we had in Coweta County in Noonan. That one was in the middle of the night after 11:30 p.m. We were wall to wall with that one. We had to wait for the sun to come up the following day to see the kind of damage it caused, but we saw debris signatures similar to what we're seeing this afternoon. So very reminiscent of what we experienced not too long ago in Coweta County, in the city of Noonan, and now we're seeing it in Spalding County, and near the city of Spirit, and still looking at this gate-to-gate shear. So we look at these numbers again, and we see the strength, possibly a very strong tornado on the ground near Griffin. And let's put that BTI. They were asking earlier, the producer was saying, what's BTI? The Barron Tornado Index. I think that's what the acronym stands for. Basically, it's a tool we have that we can query this particular storm, and it will tell us the likelihood of it being a tornado on the ground. Because again, a lot of times these are radar indicated tornadoes. Today is a very different story. We're actually getting reports of tornadoes, spotted tornadoes on the ground. But many times we do have to use radar. So the BTI of this one, again, it's the Barron Tornado Index, is 6.1, which is still high. And we are telling you a tornado is on the ground, but that's just another tool we use and there's another one, rotation. Again, this is what we look for here. This is our radar basically screaming at us, telling us a tornado's on the ground, which we have been saying here for quite some time here. We've been seeing it with our eyes here, dissecting it for ourselves. And certainly there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is a tornado on the ground.
Extended,
and now extend, this is exactly what we were talking about, into Butts County. So this is the same tornado that moved through Spalding County. Remember I said, get to your safe spot, even though there's not technically a warning in Butts County, because there will be a warning in Butts County. And look, 5 to 10 minutes later, there's that warning in Butts County. That is a first alert, giving you that warning before the National Weather Service does. This storm moving east here, Locust Grove, Jenkinsburg, Jackson, tornado on the ground, moving quickly. This tornado, not only is it strong, but it is creating damage, and it is moving quickly. So you don't have time to react. You have to go to your safe spot before the tornado arrives. This is moving towards Locust Grove at 4:38, Jenkinsburg at 4:42, moving very quickly at 40 to 50 miles an hour. And this is purple, so confirmed tornado, which is what we have been saying. I mean, and this is a fairly large tornado. Many times, especially in January in Georgia, we don't see these large, robust tornadoes. This is what we see in April, not January. So this is what we typically see in April, which is the peak of our severe weather season, April into May. We're getting it in January. So this is a very dangerous situation here. We are sending our crews out to all of these areas. And as soon as we get these live pictures, as soon as it is safe to get there, we don't want to put our crews in harm's way, of course. As soon as it is safe to get there, we will give you live images to show you what it looks like on the ground. But for now, please know that a very dangerous situation moving through Spalding County to Butts County. There's the debris. This is not going, this has been on the ground but this has been on the ground for
hours, 3.5 hours.
So long. And again, there it is again. So we watched it weaken and then intensify quickly. This is a long track tornado and a strong, powerful tornado here moving into Butts County. And we keep talking about tornado because that is the most devastating part of it. We're seeing hail in these storms, strong damaging winds, obviously, very heavy rain. We're seeing lots of lightning as well as we have storms moving into McDonough, Locust Grove. Again, tornado warning for a confirmed tornado. This is in Spalding County. Rodney, we don't see this very often in Georgia, let alone in January.
Yeah, and you were talking about the setup, Jen, and how, again, we're just talking about an air mass that's more typical of spring than it is of what we're seeing in January. I want to zoom in, Jen, just west of Locust Grove again. What we're doing here is giving you an analysis frame by frame on First Alert Radar because this stuff is moving very quickly toward the north and east. So I'm going to put the wind back on here. We've been clocking several hours. Look at that, Patrick, Jen, that's 70 miles per hour. That's one of the stronger winds that we have seen. So for a lot of these storms that we've been tracking for you this afternoon, I would say, Patrick, the winds like 40 to 50 is what we've been clocking. But this particular tornado, 70, and I actually saw an 80 about 5 minutes ago. That's not there, but that's another sign that this is a particularly stronger storm. They also added a considerable tag to the threat on the tornado warning, which is just another tool that we can use to let you know that this is a big deal as this particular rotation, Patrick, heads toward Jenkinsburg.
It is crazy, Rodney. A very strong line of storms continuing to move through portions of the state of Georgia. Listen, we've been tracking this for over an hour and a half in our area, and we've been tracking this for a week or so coming, and we've been tracking this all day as this line has approached. And just like Rodney just told you, this line is intensifying as it progresses towards the east-northeast. We were tracking winds earlier this evening outside of the tornado warning cells that were gusting 40, 50, 60. Now we're getting 60, 70, 80, and this is moving towards the northeast. Right now, our most dire concern, of course, is this tornado warning that we have been essentially breaking down for folks. If I can get my toolbar back, Rodney, I can zoom into that cell and get you guys a little bit more of some information on what I'm actually detecting embedded in this tornado. So what I can do, let me zoom that out. What we can do here is we can switch to one of our tools that allows us to dive into a lot of the things that are happening within that cell. And right here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some red. This is another one of our tools. We have a lot of tools at our disposal to pick up on thunderstorms that are rotating, tornado signatures. This is one of our tools that allows us to see that signature. And I'm going to zoom in because I need you to see the communities that this is over. This is a Smoke Road to Locust Grove. That's where that signature is tightest. This is going to be in the Tawalega area. This is a very strong signature here. We can actually cross-check that signature that we're seeing by going back to what we've been showing you all day, which is our velocity. We can also look for shear because that lets us know, well, that shear signature is starting to move off towards, as we've been saying, this is racing. Looks like that's moving a little bit further towards the north and east. So what we'll do is dive into that cell and get you guys a tracker on where this is headed. So I'll kind of track this out to the north and east. Roughly 55 miles or so. Jenkinsburg, this is going to arrive at 4:46. So you have roughly 5 minutes to get into your safe place. If you're in Jackson, this is about 10 minutes away from your neighborhood. Shady Dale, you have about 20 minutes before this is on your doorstep. And if you're in Madison, that plan needs to be in place. You need to be moving the dogs, taking the wife, the kids, the husband, and of course, your phone with you. Download that First Alert weather app because we are streaming not only here, but we're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on our app. We're streaming on Roku. We're streaming on Amazon. Any platform that you can get news from, we're live right now. We're going to continue to be as we track not only this tornado warning, but all of these severe thunderstorms that are moving through our area.
Yeah, and we have so much to cover. Again, this is impacting all of Metro Atlanta, most of North Georgia. Do you want to report getting information from DeKalb County? Nearly 8,000 customers without power in DeKalb County. And I think really the amount of power outages from this system is going to be immense. And again, that's why those streaming services are so important so that you can get your information even if your power goes out. We do have Zach Summers on the ground. He is in Cobb County in Ackworth, where we did have a tree fall on a home. And Zach, you're there now. Just one of many trees down across the state. How does it look in Cobb County?
Yeah, well, the rain has sort of let up, but it comes and goes, but it's not as heavy as it has been. We're near Windy Hill Road and Cobb Drive, a neighborhood where you see the tree fell on this very beautiful home, and we were able to speak with a homeowner just a moment ago. She told us that she was inside with her dog. She was actually on a Zoom call, work meeting, when she started to notice that the leaves outside of her home started moving rapidly. She thought, what's going on? And there you have it, a tree then slams into her living room, a guest bedroom inside the home. And for her, she was concerned about her dog, Marley, because where this tree landed inside the living room, she says that's normally where her dog would be sitting. And she said all of the materials from the roof and the attic, they fell into the living room, and she couldn't see where Marley was. So she thought Marley was hurt because Marley wasn't making any noise. Turns out Marley was not inside. She ran toward the back of the home, and they both got out together. You know, she's a first-time home buyer. This is her first home, so you know she is just devastated by this. She says she's never been through a situation like this, so she's kind of at a loss right now. Fortunately, she does have insurance, but the good news is she and her dog Marley, they are okay, and she is very gracious to her neighbors. She's with them now as she tries to work out what she will do next here. So that's the situation here from this neighborhood near Windy Hill and Cobb Drive. We'll send it back to you all in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Yeah, and we're seeing immense power outages there in Cobb County. That's just one tree that happened to fall on a home, but we're getting reports of trees scattered across much of metro Atlanta. These are latest power outages. Cobb County, 5,500. Then you head into DeKalb County, 7,000 people. As we head into Coweta County, nearly 8,000 customers without power. Fulton County, nearly 10,000 customers without power. So a majority, or not a majority, but a large number of folks are without power from this system. Now, the dangerous part of the storm is the leading edge of the storm. That is where we're seeing those strong damaging winds, the straight line winds, the tornadoes developing along the leading edge of the storm. Once you're on the back end of this, you are in the clear. So it's still raining, but once this pushes through here along that leading edge, you will be in the clear. Where we're seeing some of the strongest storms, and then we'll be watching, see another tornado there in Alabama. That's going to clip northwestern portions of the state. But where we have the strongest storms here is this storm in Spalding County moving into Butts County, moving towards Locust Grove, Henry County, southern Henry County, near the Locust Grove area. And this is for a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is until 5:15. So it's 4:44, about 30 minutes here as this potential tornado moves through it. Look how quickly it is moving. This started even before we were tracking this in Alabama, and then it moved all the way through, now moving into Butts County, out of Spalding County. But we are seeing some circulation. Certainly doesn't look as impressive as it did earlier, but certainly still seeing some signs of rotation here near Wolf Creek Road, near Peaksville, near Highway 42 North, near McMichael Crossroads, Godsey Road, near, let's see, Unity Grove. This is where we have, and again, with each radar sweep, this is so fast. It moves so fast, just flying through the area here. So we get these sweeps. Each time that radar does a sweep, you get an updated image. So again, very bright colors. This tells us very strong winds. That means a strong tornado here. And we'll have to see if this gets extended even further east. This is just plowing through the county so quickly here, moving to the east-northeast at about 50 miles an hour. This particular one here, moving to Buckhead, not Buckhead as in the perimeter Buckhead, but Georgia Buckhead, then towards Greensboro at 5:40 as it continues to head towards I-20. Right now it's south of Covington near the Wolf Creek Road area near Peaksville here, but it is moving very quickly to the east here. Again, debris, still seeing some debris, obviously not as strong as it was. What we're seeing with these storms is they'll tighten, they'll intensify, and it looks like it's actually happening right now because this rotation certainly getting more well-defined, and then it will weaken, and then it will get strong again, and then it will weaken. So we're seeing this over and over again as these storms continue to evolve and develop and rush quickly to the east. Rodney, are we getting any more damage reports, information?
Yeah, we are indeed, Jen. As a matter of fact, one just came in out of Griffin. This was about 60 seconds ago. There was a report of major structural damage at a shopping center across the street from a Walmart in Griffin. They're not very specific on the address, but again, a shopping center across the street from a Walmart in Griffin, Georgia. Major structural damage is being reported there. Also want to point out, Jen, as you see First Alert radar behind me, I'm going to query this or give you another icon for how strong these winds are blowing in this particular storm that we're seeing. So this is we call this a supercell basically. And with a supercell, these are long, very long storms. They stay on the ground for a long period of time. So what you're seeing here is you can have a rotation that'll pop up. The rotation may go away, but then it'll pop up again. We call that cycling. That's why you see this being so strong, and that's why I've been tracking it for such a long period of time, because it is a supercell. So even as one rotation starts to go away, it's not impossible for those rotations to pop back up, which is why, as Shin, you mentioned, this is going to be a concern even outside of the tornado-warned area.
And when we were over this tornado in Spalding County, over the city of Griffin, we put that debris signature on, and we could see the debris flying through the sky, and this is intensifying right here. Just want to give you an update. We are getting reports of major structural damage to the Hobby Lobby in Spalding County. So if you are familiar with the city of Griffin, if you are familiar with Spalding County, if you know where that Hobby Lobby is located, that shopping center, we are getting reports of major structural damage. So when we did the debris signature, we could see the debris, and Rodney, Patrick, and I, we were saying, this is big. The things flying through the sky right now, these are not lawn chairs, these are roofs, these are structures, these are awnings, these are large objects that are being hurled in the sky. We're seeing them on radar, maybe from that Hobby Lobby. And normally these professional structures, these businesses, are fairly well built. They're built to sustain strong winds. But when you're talking about a strong, destructive, possibly deadly tornado on the ground, and you see what it can do to a major shopping center like a Hobby Lobby, just goes to show how dangerous this tornado is, how destructive this tornado is. And this is that same cell. And this was when it was moving over Griffin?
Yes, so I have the time.
Okay.
I have the time at the top. This is not current. This was at 4:26.
I'll move on so you can see the time. So there's the timestamp. This is, we were doing this live on the air as it moved through Griffin. It was most likely right around between 4:20 and 4:40 when we were seeing this debris here right over the city of Griffin, and it looks like north of Griffin. So
that has to be
I would
it,
guarantee the Hobby Lobby, the Walmart, is probably within this vicinity right here on 19, just northwest of Griffin, north of Williamson Road. Major debris up in the sky from this tornado as it moved through Spalding County. We watched it weaken, and now it looks like it's re-intensifying once again. This is a never-ending storm. It just keeps getting stronger, and then it weakens, and it gets stronger, and again, very well-defined rotation. This is north of Jackson. This is moving out of Butts County here, and again, they're going to have to extend this warning. I think these storms are moving so quickly. The National Weather Service is having a hard time keeping up. They have to keep issuing these warnings ahead of the storm because this tornado is just racing through the county here, heading towards Greensboro, heading towards Woodville here around 541, 548 here. It is heading in your direction. This storm has a history of not only producing a tornado, and it is a tornado on the ground, but producing extensive damage. Again, not only are we getting reports of trees down and power lines down and homes damaged, but we are getting reports of major structural damage to large shopping centers, large businesses, across from the Walmart in Spalding County, at the Hobby Lobby in Griffin, in Spalding County, and still seeing that rotation here as it moves over Fincherville, near Hamlin Road, near Worthville, heading towards Malcolm Road. And I want to go ahead of this tornado because this is where the tornado is right now, near Keys Ferry Road. But it is moving so fast to the east at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. So we're not going out of that warning area here. I suspect another warning will be issued here shortly. But if you're in Rocky Creek, if you're in Avalon, if you are in Murder Creek Church Road, if you're in that area near Highway 11 North, a tornado is on the ground and it is approaching your area. This is just one of several tornado warnings we've had through the afternoon. It is a first alert weather day. This is why today was a first alert weather day. This is why. Confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Major structural damage. Schools had to cancel after-school activities. Many schools had to dismiss early today because of these storms that are moving through the area and the potential damage and destruction. This continues to be severe here from Clark County. If you are a parent, you have students at the University of Georgia, severe thunderstorm warning moving through the campus at the University of Georgia right now. Make sure you call, you text, let them know that very strong winds are approaching south of Athens to Covington. Spalding County moving into Butts County still have an active tornado warning for a tornado, confirmed tornado on the ground. The same tornado that we are getting reports of major structural damage in Spalding County, in the city of Griffin, to that Hobby Lobby across from the Walmart. We are getting reports here. We're sending a crew here. We will show you those images as soon as it is safe to get there. We will show you what it looks like. But certainly we saw that debris flying through the sky here, and we're still watching this warning here.
Jen, I want to just point
Rodney,
real quickly. For just talking about Spalding County right now, we just got a report that the Spalding County emergency services are currently down. So that's just one additional issue. They're also now getting reports of power lines down in Upson County, but more urgently, again, this is from emergency management in Spalding County. Their emergency services are currently down. It's just a heads up there.
Have they said anything, Rodney, because I see this is now exiting Butts County. The warning ends at Butts County. Is there any talk of extending this tornado warning beyond into Jasper and Putnam County?
They have not talked about extending it yet, but as you mentioned, the rotation is basically almost out of the warning.
Yes.
What I'll do, Jen, is bring our velocity back up so you can get an idea of how strong this is. You can see, Jen,
right
the
here.
rotation has started to weaken a little bit, but because this is a supercell, it's certainly possible that they will extend this. And I said the word supercell before because that's important to know. With these supercells, you can get the rotation that'll start to weaken a little bit, but then it'll fire back up, it'll cycle through. So they have not indicated just yet. They are saying now, Jen, strongly considering it. Yes, just based on the history, so exactly what I said. They're considering extending it based on the history of this storm. With it being a supercell, we simply can't rule out more spin-ups happening. So not a new warning yet, but Jen, that's probably coming soon.
If you're in Jasper and Putnam County, I would get to your safe spot. Don't wait for this warning to be issued. We have a confirmed dangerous tornado on the ground, and it is on the edge of this tornado warning in Butts County. So don't wait for that county to scroll on the bottom of your screen. If you are in Jasper County, if you are in Putnam County, please get to your safe spot. This is the same tornado that created major damage across the city of Newnan and in Spalding County. It is now on the outer fringe of Butts County, moving into Jasper County and then Putnam County. I am still seeing well-defined circulation, still believe a tornado is on the ground at this point. So Jasper County, this is entering your area very shortly. If you are south of Covington, if you are in New Bern, please take cover. North of Monticello, go to your safe spot. This storm is moving incredibly fast at 40 to 50 miles an hour. So don't wait for that warning to be issued. Again, we are seeing rotation here. May not be as strong as it was earlier, but even a weak tornado will cause damage, will topple trees, will topple power lines. And again, this is on the outer fringe. This purple box, that is the tornado warning we have in place in Butts County. I am very surprised this has not been extended beyond Butts County. So Jasper County, please go to your safe spot immediately. You want to go to the lowest level of your home. You want to go to your basement, an interior room away from windows. A confirmed tornado on the ground now, just south of Highway 212, I should say, near Bennett's Bridge Road here. This is going to cross near Patty Drive, Rocky Creek Drive, near Henderson Mill Road here as a very strong, potent system continues to move east. Let's put the debris on top of this, Ronnie. I just want to see if we're still seeing the debris. So certainly doesn't look as impressive. Yes. So this is a good sign. And this is why we do this, because we want to look at all of our tools. We want to use everything to assess what we're seeing right now. So we see the rotation, although weakening, but we also want to see if we're seeing the debris flying through the sky, which we did see as this moved through Newnan. So certainly something we'll continue to watch. And oh, There's the warning that I just told you was going to be issued. So this is that warning. This is for Putnam, but Jasper County, northern Jasper, northern Putnam County. Again, this was the warning I was telling you for that cell that was moving out of Butts County, and it's now already in Jasper. So I hope you heeded my warning and went to your safe space. This is a tornado here on the ground, and it is barreling at 50 to 60 miles an hour. Incredibly strong tornado here. History of producing devastating damage, and it is not done yet as it continues to barrel through North Georgia. This tornado warning, Rodney, when is this until? Do we have the time on this?
This expires, Jen, at 5:45. It is currently 4:56, so just under an hour.
5:45. And we're seeing that these move out of the warning before the designated time. They're very quick moving. So I think that's also why we're lagging a little bit here. The Weather Service is lagging a bit on when they issue these warnings. So it's very important you stay with our coverage. If you lose power, if your friends, the family lose power, we are on all streaming devices. If you have the First Alert Weather app, you can find all the information there as well. And that is why we can't stress it enough before the event happens, so that you can get the warnings and all the information. This is the kind of information you're not going to find on just any regular old app with an hour-by-hour forecast. You need meteorologists telling you exactly where it is, what to expect, and what you need to be doing to prepare. This is heading towards Mansfield at 5:05, New Bern at 5:07, Madison at 5:23, Buckhead 5:27, Union Point 5:46, Woodville at 5:47. And again, it is now moving into northern Jasper County. I have us to step out a little bit to see the county lines here with all the red, the green, the pink. But there we are moving into northern, so out of Butts, Jasper County. This is Putnam County, so it's going to cross over northern Jasper County here, just south of Covington. This is I-20, so you can get your bearings. We are now east of Metro Atlanta. This is south of Covington here, where we have this tornado warning. Thank you, Rodney. Kind of zooming out so we can reassess and get our bearings. So again, Atlanta's still raining, but you are in the clear as far as severe weather is concerned. But taking you here, northern Jasper, Putnam County, that is where we have a tornado warning. That purple box was a confirmed tornado, no longer considered confirmed just because the circulation's a little weaker. We're still seeing it on radar very clearly, but it's just not as strong. It's not as well defined, which tells us a couple things. A, the tornado may be lifting into the upper levels of the atmosphere. B, it is weakening. Either way, when that happens, it can just as easily strengthen and touch back down. So certainly still seeing some rotation, although weaker as it continues to move. And when you see this in motion, you can see that. See how bright the greens and the reds are? And then watch what happens as we go in time. See how that weakens? But notice it's still there. So we are not in the clear yet. It is weaker, but New Bern, this is coming straight to you. Please, New Bern, if you are in New Bern, go to your safe spot. If you are near Silver Lake, if you are near Highway 11 North, you need to get to your safe spot. Again, this could just as easily re-intensify as it races very quickly to the east-northeast at 50 to 60 miles an hour. And Rodney, these damage reports always lag because it takes time for people to report the damage, the emergency managers to report the damage. And we're getting these damage reports coming in already.
Yeah, we are.
Which makes me think this is only going, we're going to see a lot of damage.
It's going to be bad for Spalding County, and that's what I was going to say. I'm seeing a lot of the consolidation of the reports starting to come in from Spalding County, rather. There was also a report that there could have been some people trapped in Spalding County as well. So we've had multiple major reports coming out of Spalding County this morning. That's Griffin, Jen. That's where we saw the debris signature. That's where we definitely saw a tornado, really the same tornado that we're tracking now. So that's where the consolidation of our reports have been. Also out of DeKalb County, multiple trees were reported down there, Jen. I'm going to zoom out here quickly just to give you your bearings and an idea of everything that's happening right now, because we know there's a lot going on at the same time. So we have the tornado warnings that we are tracking actively south and east of Atlanta. We still have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect as well. So for those of you in Athens, over at UGA in the Athens area, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. You don't have any tornado risk right now, but definitely some strong winds for you up to 60 miles per hour. In fact, that's right over Athens as we speak. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Oconee County and a severe thunderstorm warning for Walton County. Those warnings, by the way, are until 5:15, so for 14 more minutes. Those are the severe thunderstorm warnings. In Atlanta, it is turning into more of a rain event. So the heaviest is now done with Atlanta, DeKalb County, Cobb County, Gwinnett County. You're just seeing rain as the worst is moving east of you. And then finally, Jen, you actually brought this up earlier. We were looking at a tornado warning that suddenly appeared in northwest Georgia or northeast Alabama. And as that storm moves into northwest Georgia, they decided to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for that. But the environment is no longer really supporting tornadoes up there. So you don't have as high a threat in northwest Georgia, Jen, as what you're tracking south and east of us.
Troup County, they have activated their emergency operations center. Basically, they've had so many calls to 911 that they've had to activate this, and they are prioritizing their calls to people who are trapped. So they're getting several reports of entrapment in Troup County, and they're putting those calls first. So this is just showing you the scale of damage of what's happening here as this strong system moves through North Georgia. We have people trapped. We have major structural damage. We have confirmed tornadoes. We're getting reports of major damage even to commercial areas, to major structures like the Hobby Lobby in moving through Noonan, through Coweta County, and still seeing some tornado warnings even right now. So the flashing tornado emergency, I'm assuming that just has not removed, right? That's over.
Yeah.
So usually they remove it. They have not removed it, but that is no longer in effect. So the coast is clear if you're in that purple flashing area. Just want to confirm that. But this is the new tornado warning that has issued beyond that. So that one's red because technically it's not a confirmed tornado. And that is because it's not as strong. We're not seeing that signature on radar. It's not as clear. So tornado warning means a tornado is on the ground, but it's not a confirmed tornado on the ground. So it could be in the upper levels, it could have weakened, but just like it weakens, it can also re-intensify. So again, still a very dangerous situation. This is that same tornado we were tracking through Coweta County, through Spalding County. I really think the worst of the damage is going to be in Enterprise and in Spalding County in the city of Griffin. I think that's really the bullseye of where really we got hit the worst with these tornadoes. And now they're moving east towards New Bern, towards Madison, towards Buckhead, where we still have a tornado warning in place as this continues to move quickly to the east at 40 to 50 miles an hour. And the speed of these individual cells, the speed of these tornadoes is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because once it moves in, it's going to move out that much faster, which is a good thing. So it moves through in and out. It's not going to linger over the same area, just creating damage upon damage upon damage. But it's also a curse because you have less time to get to your safe spot. You can't wait until it's right there. You have to get there before the tornado arrives. So again, very dangerous situation, still evolving south and east of the metro. Coast is clear for Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, but certainly not the case. And Rodney?
So they have just canceled the tornado warning for Butts, Henry, Newton, and Spalding County. I'll say, Jen, that even this rotation that I'm going to cycle through this and just take you back a few frames. You can see, and you said this, they just dropped that warning. So the tornado warning no longer in effect. And this is why. You can see how strong that signature is actually below the banner. So I'm going to bring our radar up for you. Look how strong that signature is on the left-hand side of your screen. As I go frame by frame, notice how that really bright green and that really bright red, it almost disappears, which means that that rotation has basically weakened substantially. And we did just get from the National Weather Service that the tornado warning for Butts, Henry, Newton, and Spalding counties has been canceled.
And we are getting new information here. We actually have brand new video. This is Troup County. This is the same county that opened its emergency operations center. They've got several reports of entrapment, which could mean a tree on a house. People are trapped in Troup County, and they're getting so many reports that they have had to prioritize who gets help first. And that's just makes your heart sink, because if you need help, you need help, but they've got to get to those folks who are trapped first before they can get to some of those other calls. And again, this is Troup County. This is that same tornado. It roared through Troup County before moving into Spalding County, before moving through Butts County, Jasper County. And there it is, what we're looking at. Obviously, that's a major interstate right there. This is on 185, I-185, huge trees down on the roadway. And we are going to find out exactly what happened, but obviously very curious to see if there's cars there. This is happening during the afternoon commute. Kids are coming out of school. Mom and dads are going to get their babies. You know, you're driving along the interstate and this. So we will find out if there are any vehicles under those trees. But as you can see, the interstate is completely blocked. And that's just some of what we're seeing in Troup County. Our crews are on the way to other areas where we suspect major damage. We're getting reports of major damage. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people without power right now. Now's a good time to check on your loved ones, send a quick text, make sure they're okay, if they need anything, if they lost power. But as far as I know, it looks like all these tornado warnings are now over, or we have one left.
We have until 5:30. I was just showing a loop as you were talking about Troup County behind you to kind of give people an idea of what
when
was
it
happening.
moved through.
I'm going to take you. 5:30 is when this final warning will expire. It is still in effect for Morgan and Putnam County until 5:30. So we still have a ways to go. Even though that rotation has weakened, that warning will stay in effect until they tell us otherwise.
And we'll continue to track it as they do. And again, just because we're not really seeing that well-defined circulation doesn't mean it won't happen again. I can't stress that enough. We've seen it over and over and over, and even today, we've seen it over and over and over again. The environment is very ripe. It's very juicy. When you step outside, you can feel it. It's very humid. It's almost, I mean, you can feel it. It's almost like hard to breathe with that humidity and the heat. And that is what fueled these thunderstorms. And we're still in that scenario. And we still have that rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is a strong cold front approaching. So it's giving the necessary spin. All the ingredients are there. This is why we had a first alert weather day for today. This is exactly why, as meteorologists, we forecast 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days out, and we saw this coming. So we wanted to give you that warning as soon as possible so you could prepare and you and your family would be safe this afternoon. And I am hoping and praying that that was the case this afternoon, because certainly a very large destructive tornado was on the ground, and possibly several tornadoes, because we're getting reports not only in Troup County, moving through Noonan, moving through Spalding County, through Griffin, but also in DeKalb County. Even at the airport, 285 inside the perimeter, College Park, we had a report of a quick tornado touchdown very close to Hartsfield-Jackson International. So you're talking about very strong systems in highly populated areas. And unfortunately, the higher the population, the more of an impact, and the more number of people, the larger amount of people that it is going to impact. So tornado warning still in place. Again, this is for Putnam County here until 5:30, moving towards Madison at 5:23, Buckhead at 5:27, Greensboro at 5:38, Union Point at 5:46, Woodville at 5:47. Thankfully, I am seeing some weakening within this rotation, but still there, and certainly not comfortable enough to drop this warning, just because we could certainly see that spin up once again. But things are improving. And Patrick, we've been dissecting these all afternoon, not seeing too much in the way of rotation, especially compared to where we were.
Thankfully, Jen, but we're still getting reports, not only from the tornado warn cells, but from some of these severe thunderstorm warn cells. We were talking earlier today about that 60, 70 miles per hour straight line winds could do some damage. Reports of power outages, power lines down in Locust Grove. I believe we actually have some new video. If you can tell me where that video is from, that would help me out real quick. Yeah, so we have some new video of, looks like some roof that unfortunately, these thunderstorms, strong storms. This is out in Cobb. You can see, looks like, is that the wall?
That is brick.
That's
and
brick?
cinder block.
Yeah,
Brick and
goodness.
cinder block. That shows how strong these tornadoes were, Patrick and Rodney. That is brick.
And as you know, we will have survey teams from the National Weather Service that will ultimately go out and determine how strong some of this stuff was. But that definitely looked like that was on the stronger end of damage, as you mentioned, Jen, brick.
And that's in Cobb County.
Yeah.
I
And there
think
was no warning
when we
there.
start seeing these images out of Spalding County, it's going to be impressive.
And we have 2 crews that are en route now trying to get there safely. But as you can see, they're going to be delayed. It is not safe for you to get out on these roadways out there in any of these areas that are impacted. There are trees down. There are homes. There are businesses that are damaged. There's power lines down. It's just very treacherous, very dangerous to be out there. Folks, emergency management teams are out there trying to rescue people, and we need to give them the space and the opportunity to be able to do that as swiftly as possible. This is one of those events that you don't want to get out and about. You need to shelter in place at home for the evening as we continue to track these storms. We're not out of the woods yet. More footage of thunderstorm damage. This is Fulton County. You can see what we're tracking is some trees that are down. Looks like in front of a house. Looks like maybe that power line was impacted as well. Hopefully these folks are okay. These are all reasons, number one, that we first alert, but that you should stay at home and shelter in place as we're tracking these storms and these events. Just really some disturbing images, Jen, and unfortunately we have not seen the epicenter. We
haven't. And even areas outside where we have reported tornadoes, we're seeing massive power outages. DeKalb County, almost 10,500 people without power just in DeKalb County. So we're seeing massive power outages right now across the metro. And there's our power outages. We're starting to see. So Griffin is where I am 100% confident we had that tornado where we have reports of damage to the Hobby Lobby across from the Walmart. So let's query that. So when you see orange, that means 40 to 50% of Spalding County does not have power. Is that right, Rodney? Now it's yellow again.
Yep. Switch to numbers so we can see the number
of
households
impacted. Got it.
To the actual households.
So 10,000 people. 10,000 people.
Just north of that.
18,000.
Looks like the yellow is definitely the higher numbers in Henry and Spalding County.
Henry and Spalding County, which is what we've been tracking. Put on the percentages quickly because Griffin has a smaller population than Fulton County per se. So 43%, that is 43% of people in the entire county of Spalding County do not have power right now. So more than half of your neighbors in Spalding County do not have power right now. Just incredible. Wow. That means that the amount of trees down and damage is catastrophic when half of your population does not have power. The cleanup is going to take a long time. This is not a 5-hour cleanup. If you lost power and you are in Spalding County, unfortunately, it is going to take a while to restore your power just because there are so many trees down, so much damage, and it's just going to take so long to get this power up and running. So if you are in Spalding County, most likely you do not have power, 50-50 chance that you don't have power in Spalding County. This is with the storm system that roared through Spalding County. We had that massive debris ball on radar, and when it popped up, I can see Rodney's face, I can see Patrick's face, I know what my face looks like, but when Rodney popped up that debris signature on there, I think we all gasped.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Jen, as you mentioned, we don't see that often.
No.
Where you see, because we've been looking at velocity all day, we had been looking at our debris signatures all day, but when it was that strong, again, this is like a springtime event, what we were looking at down in Spalding County, Patrick and Jen. I do want to briefly take you to Clayton County. I hear we have some live video out of Clayton County. So it is 5:14 right now. This is super important in Metro Atlanta. I do want to point out that the worst is actually starting to come to an end in Metro Atlanta. So while we continue to track this tornado warning south and east of town, if you are in Atlanta, the worst is coming to an end as you look at that live video from Clayton County. Wow.
So
that's a very
I have a
heavy rain.
Yeah, we're going to have to get this image. We're seeing pictures of the structural damage in the Hobby Lobby. I mean,
part of the roof is gone.
The roof is gone. We're going to have to get this video. So we're going to see if Alan Devlin can get that for us. He's going to get it for us. We're getting reports of some of the damage at the Hobby Lobby in Griffin, because I'm looking at it now and I want you to be able to see it, but the roof is gone. You can see the merchandise in the shelves. Some of it there,
the
some of
shelves
it
are
not
like
there.
Flattened. It doesn't look like a store.
But the roof is completely gone. So this was in Spalding County in the city of Noonan. And that is exactly when we were just talking about, we saw that debris signature. We saw the radar picking up the debris flying through the sky. And we said it was big. We said, this is big time stuff up in the air, because when the radar is that bright, it was bright blue. we knew it was large objects up in the sky. So this is just one image coming in. Stay with Atlanta News First, because as we get more and more images, we're going to show them to you. We're going to show you all of this damage. We have all of our crews on the way, if not already there. We're going to show you exactly what these tornadoes did as they continue to roar out of our area. So this is when this is when we showed you. This was Griffin. So I suspect this Hobby Lobby is north of Griffin, crossing over 19. And this is when we saw that debris, when we on live television were tracking this, and we all gasped when we saw this because it was just so impressive. We saw how tight that rotation was, how large that tornado was, how strong. The National Weather Service is going to go assess the damage most likely tomorrow morning. And then we'll know exactly how strong that tornado was. But just by looking at radar, this was not a weak tornado. So,
Jen, I will also quickly point out the last tornado warning has just been canceled. So we had a tornado warning for Butts, Jasper, Morgan, Newton, and Putnam County that was initially in effect until 5:30. They just canceled that.
And I can't stress enough, the coast is clear inside the perimeter, Metro Atlanta. It's this is even moving out of Clark County, Coney County, moving through Greene County, Oglethorpe County, Putnam County. These are the easternmost counties of our viewing area. So very shortly, the coast will be completely clear. But for now, we have no active tornado warnings. So thankfully, if we get another one, we will let you know right away and we will come back. But for now, we will be right back after this break. Warnings, thankfully. We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings still in place. These are east of the metro. So starting across Oglethorpe County, moving into Greene County, moving into Oconee County, moving into the city of Madison, Morgan County. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning, Putnam County, all of these until about 6 o'clock. So far eastern portions of our viewing area, these are for the possibility of strong damaging winds and excess of 60 miles an hour, incredibly heavy rainfall. We're seeing frequent lightning along this line as well. And these are moving quickly. That has been the blessing in all of this, this is very fast moving line. So although it created tremendous amounts of damage as it moved through metro Atlanta, it did it quickly. So as quickly as it moved in, it moved out. It is now moving out of our viewing area, Greensboro at 527, Union Point at 534, White Plains at 538, towards Washington at 554. And although we're still seeing rain behind that line, this is not severe. Still raining in Hall County, still raining through eastern DeKalb County, still raining as we take you into Fulton County, Spalding County, into Butts County, but this is just rain, thankfully. We have all of our crews on the way to that damage. We're going to continue to get these images throughout the afternoon into the evening, but we do know at this point, at least meteorologically speaking, the biggest impact appears to have been across Spalding County near the city of Griffin, near the city of Enterprise, where we saw that confirmed tornado on the ground. Fortunately, reports of damage from that as well. Want to take you hour by hour here. So here's a look at 7 o'clock. Could still see some lingering rain behind that main line, but notice that that line of rain and storms continues to move east. So that's going to be the case here over the next couple of hours. We'll see some bits of rain, but again, your majority of that impact is well to our east. As we head into the overnight, we are going to see that rain come to an end, at least that heavy rain. But we've got an Arctic blast of air moving in behind this front. This is a cold front. Any lingering moisture will be in the form of wintry weather, snowflakes. And I do think we'll see some accumulations in elevations above 2,500 feet in the North Georgia mountains. So tomorrow we have a first alert for accumulations in the North Georgia mountains. On top of that, it will be very cold and it will be very windy. So we have a lot to unpack. The good news is, although still raining, the worst of it has moved out. No tornado warnings in place currently. And honestly, I don't think we'll see any more. The only exception would be if we see some rotation in far eastern portions of our viewing area. But for now, we can breathe a sigh of relief here as the worst of it continues to move out of our area. But again, behind this, cold and windy. Quickly, I want to show you these power outages. And we're going to talk much more about this throughout the afternoon. We've got tens of thousands of people without power. So make sure you check on your friends and neighbors and loved ones. Temperatures are going to plummet tonight. Tomorrow will only be in the 40s and it will be windy. Wind chills will be in the 30s. All of these folks who lost power will not have heat. So please check on your friends and your loved ones. Major power outages across the metro. We're going to have much more. We've got team weather coverage, and we're going to talk more about that forecast in the weekend coming up.
It has been an incredibly busy afternoon, Jen, but some good news right now. A ground stop just lifted at Hartsfield-Jackson. You can see the sun peeking through there over the runways. The First Alert Weather Team confirming a tornado on the ground there around 4 o'clock, just about an hour and a half ago. What an hour and a half can do, huh? The airport right now reporting long delays to get back on track.
I want to show you some of the intense images we saw earlier today. This storm producing pea-sized hail. This video you see here is near Interstate 85 and Beaver Ruin Road over in Gwinnett County.
And before the storms hit us hard here, they hit Alabama just as hard. This is Decatur, Alabama, just west of Huntsville. Strong winds tore down buildings, and we've seen reports of injuries, unfortunately, there. The extent, though, not yet known.
And take a look at this. A confirmed tornado touches down in Selma, Alabama. It's possible Selma saw the worst of this storm. We're told strong winds tore down entire buildings. And just west of Alabama, more storm damage, this from Mississippi. The National Weather Service will be on site to determine if this damage was caused by a tornado.
Your heart breaks for all of these communities tonight. A confirmed EF1 tornado hit Kentucky. Winds up to 100 miles per hour brought this damage to Mercer County. Thousands of people right now without power there. This has been an incredible, disastrous evening here across the Southeast. If you don't have it, download the First Alert Weather app right now. When you're not by your TV or you lose power, this is a way to get alerts and keep you and your family safe. You'd rather be alerted by your phone than a tornado at your doorstep. Atlanta News First, we'll be right back after this.
here in LaGrange, where you're seeing people having to do detours, and of course plenty of resources here to try to really tackle these downed trees. Of course, we're going to be on the ground for the next several hours trying to show you guys where not to go, of course, but also what people are dealing with here in this area that was hit very hard by these storms. Pretty live in LaGrange, Rachel Aragon, back to you guys.
All right, Rachel, it is an absolute mess out there right now. Strong storms still making their way through metro Atlanta. We're not out of the woods just yet.
No, we're not. These storms capable of producing tornadoes, and they likely already have. Meteorologists Jennifer Valdez and Rodney Harris bringing us team weather coverage today. Guys, you've been on top of it all afternoon. Tell us what we're looking at now.
Yeah, and this is why we had a first alert weather day, because we saw this coming and we wanted to make sure everyone had as much time as possible to prepare.
Yeah, and Jen, you, I, and first alert meteorologist Patrick Pete been tracking this for hours now. A lot of the worst starting to move into East Georgia.
Yeah, and no active tornado warnings. I think I can't stress that enough. Let's get straight to first alert radar. I want to show you where this storm system is right now. We still have a few severe thunderstorm warnings, so no active tornado warnings. Could still see a quick spin up, but for the most part, things are improving quickly here. But moving in through eastern Putnam County, and even that, you can see the strongest part of the storm moving east of Putnam County, moving north near Greensboro along I-20, very close to Lake Oconee. This is pushing east. We're still seeing some incredibly strong damaging winds. That is why these are severe thunderstorm warnings. But the worst of it has moved through the metro area. Within this line, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, could see some fairly large hail, and we are seeing torrential downpours. Greene County's in that warning as well. These are until 6 o'clock as these move out of our viewing area. Behind that leading edge, things are improving. We're still seeing rain from Banks County, moving into Rockdale County, moving through eastern DeKalb County, moving into Spalding County, but this is just rain. So if you are behind this line, no severe weather expected for you. And then once you head into the metro through northwestern Georgia, although we're seeing these little cells here move in from Alabama, could still see some additional rainfall here, not expecting anything severe. That severe weather threat was on that leading edge. The amount of power outages from these storms is astronomical. We're talking about tens of thousands of people without power right now. In Coweta County, 6,500 people without power. Troup County, 6,000 people without power. Fulton County, almost 9,000 people without power. And then you look at Henry County, 18,000 people without power. And we're just now starting to get some of the damage reports. Confirmed tornadoes roared through. Numerous reports of trees down, damages to buildings, roads blocked, entrapment. These are just some of the things we have seen as we've gone through the afternoon. And we actually have gone back in time because the largest tornado we spotted in our live weather coverage was moving through Spalding County, just north of Griffin. And this is where we had that confirmed dangerous tornado on the ground. And this is also where we have the reports of the damage, including extensive damage to a Hobby Lobby in Spalding County, just north of the city of Griffin. We put that debris signature on top of the radar, and on live TV, we showed you the debris flying through the sky as that tornado roared through. Now, I do have some good news, and that is that tornado watch across metro Atlanta has expired, does include some of our far easternmost counties, but things will only continue to improve from here. And if you are not in red, you are in the clear. I would say pretty much everyone in our viewing area is in the clear. And while we can move on from that threat of severe weather, now we're watching a different threat, Rodney, because we have another first alert tomorrow for the cold, for the wind, and even snow flurries in tomorrow's forecast.
Yeah, how about that for January? We're going from coverage of severe weather, and we do have to talk about the potential of flurries, Jim, because of the same system. So I want to start by showing you what we have here right now. Our setup is for the storms that you see across Georgia as a cold front is basically interacting with the warm and humid air that we saw today to produce those storms. What's going to happen here is that cold front will continue to slide toward the east, and it's going to push those storms out of here. But behind the cold front, you will see colder air that's going to obviously move in on Friday. But here's what's going to happen. With that cold air moving in, there is still going to be some moisture left over. As a result of that, we could see some flurries mixed with some showers, particularly up in the northeast Georgia mountains throughout the day on Friday. So that's something else that we're going to be tracking. Again, cold air is moving in, but there's still going to be moisture left over. We're not forecasting a ton of rain. The coverage is only at 20% on Friday, but it's going to be so cold that you could see a bit of that mix in pink, particularly north of metro Atlanta. So here's our high resolution forecast model. I'm going to fast forward this to tonight. You can see that heavier rain is well away from us. But throughout the day on Friday with that moisture left over, notice how we do have a spotty shower or two. And if you go up to Gilmer County and Fannin County, notice that pink got a little bit of white and blue that's popping up there. That is the potential of, again, a few scattered flurries that would be mainly north of metro Atlanta. So don't be surprised if you see that throughout the day on Friday, even as far south as like Cherokee County, North Fulton County. That's not impossible, but we wouldn't see any accumulating snow in Atlanta. That's just something that we don't want you to be caught off guard by if you see that on Friday. So a 20% chance of that shower or flurry, especially up in the mountains. 44 degrees on Friday afternoon and windy. So Friday is not a first alert weather day, but it is a first alert because it will be cold and it will be breezy again. 44 degrees. That's the high on Friday. And then over the weekend, we're going to have a freezing start both Saturday and Sunday. So if you're going to head out to the parade on Saturday morning, it's going to be super cold, 47 degrees Saturday afternoon, but we'll see plenty of sunshine throughout the day on Saturday. Sunday's also looking better, 55 degrees, plenty of sunshine. And then Monday for MLK Day, it will stay dry, 58 degrees. We have 2 additional first alerts in your forecast even after Friday. So Tuesday, there is a 60% chance of rain at this point, not storms, but rain on Tuesday. Your high is 65 degrees. That is a first alert. The rain chance will go down to 30% on Wednesday, and we're back up to near 70 degrees on Wednesday. And then yet another first alert for Thursday for the potential for more rain as we head toward the end of the week next week. So it does look like that we're going to get into this type of pattern where next week we're going to have multiple opportunities for rain. So what you see behind me are 3 first alerts. 1 for tomorrow because of the cold and the wind. 1 for Tuesday for rain, and the next will be on next Thursday for rain. And we'll keep you up to date on this 7-day forecast with more news, weather, and traffic on the other side of this break.
Well, the worst of it is now over. A live look over metro Atlanta as that sun begins to set and those clouds roll out, but the damage also becoming a little bit clearer. But you'll still want to take it easy out on the roads if you have to go out and drive this evening. Here's a live look from the First Alert Tracker in Clayton County.
Our storm coverage continues at 5:30 on Atlanta News First.
Damage reports pouring into the newsroom at this hour as severe storms sweep through North Georgia.
And our team of meteorologists tracking the latest data as we speak. We're back in just 3 minutes with another First Alert. We're glad you're with us on this First Alert Weather Day. Right now, we're tracking the line of storms leaving the metro area. We are going to continue monitoring these storms, and we will have team coverage in just a few minutes here.
A ground stop just lifted at Hartsfield Jackson. This is a live look over the airport, over some of those runways. Planes now going to begin to start heading out back into the skies. The First Alert Weather Team confirming a tornado on the ground there around 4 o'clock this afternoon. The airport reporting long delays to try and get back on track.
Beautiful shot there. Take a look at this, though. This storm producing pea-sized hail. This video sent to us from a place near Interstate 85 and Beaver Ruin Road up in Gwinnett County.
Now, before the storms hit us, they hit Alabama. Look at some of this video. This is in Decatur, Alabama, just west of Huntsville. Strong winds tore down buildings. We can see the edge of a lake here. Some of those trailers that were parked there completely thrown to the side. Buildings torn down. And unfortunately, we have seen reports of injuries. The extent, though, because of all that damage, because of the slow response, not yet known.
More compelling video here. A confirmed tornado touches down in Selma, Alabama. Alan, it's possible that Selma saw the very worst of this storm. We're told the strong winds tore down entire buildings. You can see some of that damage right there on your screen, some of the debris on that fence here.
Now, if today wasn't an excellent example of why to download the app, I don't know what to tell you. You can download it right now by scanning that QR code on your screen. When you're not by your TV, or when your power goes out, or when you're moving room to room or on the roadways, this is the way to get alerts and stay safe. You'd rather be alerted by your phone than a tornado or a massive thunderstorm right at your doorstep in your neighborhood. Our first alert weather day coverage, it continues at this hour. We have seen heavy rain and gusty winds as all of those storms rolled right through.
Our team of meteorologists are staying on top of everything that's happening. We're going to get over right now to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez. And Jen, you have been tracking this thing since before it even rolled into Georgia.
Yeah, and we have team weather coverage. Today's a First Alert weather day. This is exactly why we've had this First Alert on the 7-day forecast for 7 days. We upgraded it to a First Alert weather day. Rodney, you did early in the morning a few days ago because of that threat of severe weather.
Yeah, this is exactly it. And just to make sure you remember that's the difference between a First Alert and a First Alert weather day. When we elevate it to a day, it's because your safety is at risk. So that's what we wanted to articulate to you right out of the gate as soon as we felt like that would happen. Unfortunately, especially for our friends in Spalding County, definitely a lot of damage where they're going to have to clean up after these storms from today.
Yeah, and we have all of our crews heading to the damage reports. They're coming in, and that's typical for these kinds of systems. You get these damage reports trickling in behind the rain, so we'll start to get a better idea of exactly how much damage there was. And the National Weather Service, they will go tomorrow and survey the damage and confirm not only how many tornadoes we had, but how strong they were, how long they were on the ground, how large they were. So all of those things we'll get a better and clearer picture of tomorrow and even tonight as our crews, our Atlanta News First crews, head to that damage. If they're not there already, they will be there shortly. This is the line that moved through the area, producing tremendous amounts of rain and severe weather. The good news here is that the coast is clear as far as severe weather is concerned. We do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings still in place for parts of our viewing area, but we're actually, the strongest storms are east of that. So even though Putnam County, technically you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning, you can see the strongest part of that storm continues to move out. Putnam County still under that severe thunderstorm warning till 6 o'clock. We're not seeing any tornadoes here, but where you see that bowing here, you see that line of very heavy rain. Those are strong, strong damaging winds as this continues to barrel quickly. This is a very fast moving system as it moves east at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Still raining behind the line, but things are starting to improve across metro Atlanta. And that is why most of the metro has been removed from the tornado watch. No longer under that tornado watch across metro Atlanta here. We have been removed from it. It's still seeing a little bit of a watch in far eastern portions of our viewing area, but things are improving. And this is why the National Weather Service removes these counties. So as soon as that threat is over, they will remove those areas. So again, still seeing some counties in our far southern and easternmost zones, but overall things are improving. I want to show you the hour by hour forecast because things will continue to improve here as we head through the evening here. So as we take you, that line of rain moves out. Here's a look at 10 p.m. Could see a few lingering showers, a little bit of rain behind the system. There is about a 20% chance of rain behind this line. But as we head to tomorrow, that's when we'll be watching here for a few flurries across the mountains of North Georgia. So we're going to transition from a very soupy, hot, and humid forecast, which is what we had today, Rodney. We are going to transition into very cold, very windy, highs in the 40s, and possible snow flurries tomorrow in the mountains.
Yeah, so essentially we're going back to January for Friday and going into the weekend. It's like two different seasons, Jen, over like a 24-hour time period. So let's walk you through tonight. Tonight, for the most part, the rain is over. As Jen mentioned, an isolated shower will be possible, even a flurry if you're up in the mountains. 41 as you get out the door on Friday morning. Tomorrow is a first alert, by the way. It's not a first alert weather day. It is a first alert for two reasons. One, the high is only 44 degrees, so you're definitely going to feel that in the afternoon. And two, it will be windy, so it's not going to be the greatest day. And we do have that 20% chance again of isolated showers and flurries in the forecast from the mountains, even as far south as like North Metro, even though we're not forecasting any accumulation. So I want to get to your 7-day forecast because we have three separate first alerts that we're still dealing with. Even though the severe weather has moved east of Metro Atlanta, we still have a lot to talk about. So just talked about that first alert for Friday again because it's cold and windy. You're going to start at 41. You're going to end up only at 44. So cold the entire day on Friday. For the weekend, it will be completely dry, but it will stay cold. Freezing in the morning, 30 degrees on Saturday morning. That's in the city of Atlanta. If you're going to head out to the parade, UGA Athens, near freezing temperatures for you as well, but it will be dry. 47 degrees will be your high on Saturday. We're down to 29 degrees in Atlanta on Sunday morning. So as you were headed to church, a lot of you in the suburbs will be in the mid-20s on Sunday morning. So definitely bundle up. 55 degrees for Sunday afternoon. As we go into next week, MLK Day is looking good. Dry, 58 degrees is your temperature. Tuesday is another first alert for rain, not storms at this point, but rain is in your forecast for Tuesday. So circle that on your calendar. 65 degrees will be your high temperature. So even though it's like cold this weekend, we're going to warm up quickly next week. 65 on Tuesday, 69, so near 70 degrees on Wednesday, and only a 30% chance of a shower or two. But then on Thursday, the rain chances will pick back up to 60%. So that's another first alert with highs staying in the 60s. Next week looked like it's going to be an active pattern with multiple opportunities for rain. So Tuesday and Thursday are the days you're going to want to watch out for with those first alerts. And of course, we'll continue to keep you up to date, not only on the severe weather that we have unfortunately seen today, but on that cold blast that we'll see tomorrow as well. You can keep up to date. Follow those updates in the first alert weather app. For now, back to you.
All right, Ronnie, thank you. Right now, we've got Atlanta News First reporter Rachel Aragon right now, who is live out. She's been observing some of this damage out there in the metro area. Rachel, can you hear me? Can you give us a look at what's going on there? A little while ago, you were by some train tracks there, and a lot of roads were blocked.
Correct, and I am still here by those train tracks right now. It is all hands on deck here in LaGrange. You can see they are still out here, these crews, trying to sweep away and clear out those branches, debris, and trees because they are still blocking those train tracks there. What this is doing to impact people here in the county, we're talking about a backup of at least a half a mile, if not more. It took us 20 minutes just to get down here because of that backup. I also want to mention, Alan and Savannah, I talked to the Sheriff's County just a few minutes ago. In fact, they say no reported injuries so far that they've heard of. But again, this is just the beginning. That we know that there's been plenty of damage all across the county. And so again, if you will, the night is still young. Again, no injuries that they know of, but we'll of course continue to learn more and check in with them throughout the evening. I also want to mention though, in the same county right here in Troup County, we know that storm damage earlier, leaving a truck flipped over, tree down. I mean, the damage and the impact is so expansive. This again, just one area of the county has been hit hard by these severe storms. And of course, Atlanta News First will stay on top of the severe weather and be on the ground to bring you the very latest. Back to you guys in the studio.
Rachel, thank you so much. Still much more ahead on Atlanta News First at 6.
And a busy day it has been. Our First Alert Weather Day coverage continues. Thank you for making Atlanta News First your choice for news at 5. We'll be right back.
Weather Day.
And now it's 6 powerful storms rock Metro Atlanta. Incredible damage just like this scattered across our communities. We can tell you at this hour, multiple tornadoes have touched down over the last few hours.
Thankfully, tonight the storm is moving away from our area, but you can see that line of storms now heading east. There is still a lot of damage out there, a lot of lives, a lot of our neighbors impacted here today. We're glad you're with us. I'm Rick Fulbaum.
And I'm Tracy Hutchins. Now we know you or someone you know probably had to get to a safe place to wait out these dangerous storms.
So now comes the hard part of assessing all the damage, and there is a lot of it. Zach Summers live at a warehouse in Austell. That's off Oak Ridge Parkway. And Zach, one whole side of that warehouse now reduced to a pile of bricks.
Yeah, just an incredible scene here. We're right at the border of Austell and Lithia Springs. This business behind me, you see strong winds move through and just blew this side of the building out. I mean, we're talking bricks, cinder blocks, and I want to bring in the store manager and the owner. Christy is the store manager. Zane is the owner. Christy, walk us through what happened.
Well, the storm come through and this took the whole wall. It just like hit over there and then it just come through and took everything.
Yeah, you were saying though you were inside the store and you guys kind of.
One of my employees was inside the store holding the door, and my husband's like, you need to back up away from the door. And then there was a guy in the warehouse, and he was like, the whole wall come down. So he was in the warehouse and the whole wall come down.
So you all knew that something bad was happening outside.
Yes, everybody knew that there was something bad happening outside, and then our whole wall come down.
Yeah, and Zane, I want to talk to you. Come with me over here. You know, you've owned this business, you were telling me, for 6 years.
Yes, sir.
What are you thinking right now?
Well, the only thing what I'm thinking is that, that stuff can be fixed, but I'm glad nobody got hurt or didn't happen to anybody. I've been here from last 6 years. We have a really good customer base. I was in the back office when that storm hit, and I can hear loud wind. A lot of wind was going around the building and on the roof. I can feel it. Everything is shaking so hard. And all of a sudden I hear the bang noise. And so I came out and I asked everybody's okay. And then power went off. And then I came out and I saw the whole warehouse is completely naked. It doesn't have any wall anywhere. And then I started getting worried about it. And we are doing some work right now. We have some of the companies here to start working on it right now, and it's going to get it fixed.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you and the folks who were inside are okay. But again, just an incredible force of nature here knocking out this wall at this business right on the border of Austell and Lithia Springs. We're live in Cobb County. Zach Summers, Atlanta News First.
Zach, thank you. And of course, we are seeing damage all across the metro. Let's head down to Spalding County in Griffin. That's where we find Atlanta News First Tori Cooper. There is some damage where you are too, Tori.
Tracy, we are at the Hobby Lobby that our First Alert Weather team that has been talking about for the last several minutes. I was listening to you guys. Let's show it to you. Look at all the shards of metal on the ground right here to really show you just the velocity that came through here. Look at the roof. There's no roof. It's all on the ground right here. There's also what used to be the lights over here. And I want to walk with you so I can also show you what else is happening over here. There's bricks on the ground. And then as we move over here to the front end of the Hobby Lobby entrance, watch your foot, you're going to be able to see what's really going on. I'm going to paint the picture for you. This is the main scene right here outside of the Hobby Lobby, but I'm going to tell you what's inside. There's nothing but pouring water into the Hobby Lobby right now, and it looks like only the skeleton of what used to be this building. You can see that all the lights are shut off. This has been really hard to navigate just to bring you what's really going on down here. Let's keep the camera on this part of it over here because this is what we really want to show our viewers. You can see that there's literally no roof to this Hobby Lobby. I'm going to walk over here. We're going to see if we can shine our light through. It looks like some people are trying to access the Hobby Lobby, which is not going to be possible. But that was really the main part of the Hobby Lobby that is really showing the most exterior damage. You can see we're just dodging metal out here. But inside, let's see if we can do what we can to show you.
And I'm going to describe, there's lights on the ground, there's nothing but pouring water inside, and there's low-hanging wires. You can see the insulation from the building is just completely gone. This is nothing left of this building is going to be most likely, you can see the furniture over here too. It's all getting wet. Definitely disappointed for the people who work here. Going to have to clean this up tomorrow. It's going to be a very lengthy cleanup process, but to paint the picture about what's happening on the ground right now, it was very difficult to get over here. Let's again bring you guys back over here. There was all the lights and traffic lights are out, and we had to cut through different gas stations that were out. We had to romp curves to get over here, you name it. It's just a disaster here on the ground. So again, we're going to bring you some more images that we get from on the ground here, and we'll share it with you right here.
Tori, I just want to ask you.
Reporting live in Spalding County, I'm Tori Cooper, Atlanta News First.
Tori, it looks like there are no people there. Obviously, we're concerned about anybody who might have been inside that building at the time. Can you tell us that everybody get away and get to a safe place without getting hurt?
That appears to be the case. No one over here, if that was the case, through our experience reporting on the ground, there would be first responders out here, Rick, and it appears that everyone got out okay. It appears that the store is just completely shut down, and it's really just going to be about the cleanup process going forward. It does not look like any workers were hurt, because at least when we first learned about that was about 30 minutes ago. I imagine that this would have been a much more chaotic scene if anyone was actually in there and trapped, because if you look inside through the window, you can really tell that it would have been very difficult for certain people to maybe get out who were maybe not already out here and in the safe zone.
All right, Tori, thank you for that.
Yeah, we are hopeful no one did get hurt. We were really watching all this unfold live on our radar in that area where that Hobby Lobby is, where Tori Cooper is. We really saw kind of the debris in the air. Let's get over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez, because you really saw this happening, that debris flying in the air in that very same spot in Spalding County.
We saw it and our hearts sank and we all gasped as we saw that, because not only were we looking at the rotation on radar, very well-defined rotation that you only see with a very powerful, strong tornado, but also then we looked at the debris flying through the sky, because the radar beam can pick up that as well. And in that exact same spot where we saw the rotation, we also saw that debris. So certainly very dangerous situation this afternoon across the metro area. And thankfully now the coast is clear. The severe weather threat is now over. These yellow boxes you see, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are now east of our viewing area. So no warnings at all across our viewing area. We're still seeing some rain behind that leading edge, but it's that leading edge where we had that risk of severe weather, including tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. We're still seeing some rain moving through Rockdale County, moving along I-20 into Madison near Spalding County, still seeing some rain, and moving out of Athens, Clark, Oconee County. But again, this is moving east and away from our area. And as that threat continues to diminish, notice that tornado watch continues to be whittled away. Still a couple counties in there, but those will be removed. Again, the coast is clear, no longer under that threat of severe weather or tornadoes. This system that brought the severe weather is a cold front. So as it continues to push through, although the threat of severe storms is over, it will get very cold and windy. So tomorrow you'll need your jackets, you'll need your gloves. Temperatures will be in the 40s with the winds. It will feel like the 30s. So a very cold and windy day tomorrow. We do have a first alert for the huge changes in the forecast. We'll talk much more about what to expect the rest of the week, including this weekend for the Georgia Parade in Athens, with team weather coverage coming up.
All right, Jen, thanks very much. Well, the rest of this early evening and into tonight is going to be about assessing the damage as we go around these areas. We're hit today by this tornadic activity. Abby Kasur is live off Buford Highway in DeKalb County. Abby, what's the scene there?
Yeah, we're actually at an apartment complex right off of Buford Highway. This area is roped off right now as maintenance crews trying to get to some of the damage. You can see this tree fell on a power line and then hit the roof of this apartment complex. You can see how the power lines are actually intertwined with that tree. Maintenance workers working right now trying to make those repairs, hammering at the roof. I did talk to one of the maintenance workers. He shared some good news, said that everybody is okay. They're just working to get that roof repaired. There was some damage inside. Just really shows you what all the power of wind can do, and they're going to be working on some of that damage. Talking with DeKalb EMA, they have workers out trying to work and help assess some of the damage, help get the power back on at some of these places, and hopefully they're able to do so later tonight. In DeKalb County, I'm Abby Kasoris, Atlanta News First.
All right, what a mess out there. Abby, thank you. As we go to break for a quick second, some live pictures from Henry Jackson Road. This is Spalding County, and the tree there, as you can tell, just blocking the road, and crews are on the scene. They are working to clear that so that it get back up and running for normal traffic. But again, this is Henry Jackson Road in Spalding County. If you live in this area, you might want to avoid this location. We'll be back. Our continuing coverage right after this.
streets, roads, and train tracks where people are going to be trying to get through, at least starting by tomorrow morning. So they've been out here for several hours clearing off different parts of the train tracks and this road, but now they have the added challenge of it being dark. We're seeing flashlights come out. I just want to emphasize that this is just one of many roads right now that's being treated with downed trees, trying to be cleared out because so many people on our way here were being backed up by traffic. So again, it's going to be a long night for many people, but especially those who are trying to get through traffic and especially those who are responsible for clearing this area. We'll be checking in, of course, with officials about any injuries, of course. For now, live in Troup County, Rachel Aragon, back to you guys.
Thank you, Rachel. Let's go back to Austell. Zach Summers is live at a warehouse there off Oak Ridge Parkway where there was a lot of damage tonight. Zach.
Yeah, and you know, we talked to the owner and a general manager here. We wanted to show you more of the damage this time around. It really is a sight to see here. I mean, just tons of bricks and cinder blocks just knocked off of this wall. The folks who were inside at the time tell me that all they heard was just really strong winds surrounding the building, and boom, this half of the building collapsed, this wall collapsed. Now, fortunately, no one inside was hurt, but man, it's just wild to see this amount of damage. And driving here, we saw a little bit along the way, there's a tree not too far from here that's split in half, and just across the street there's a fence that's bent. But remarkably, this car lot across the street, none of the cars appear to be damaged. But again, when you take a look at this scene right here, this business, they supply truck parts. It's just incredible that no one inside was hurt. And you look up there and you see a lot of the inventory still standing. It really was the wall that collapsed here under the pressure of the wind that moved through this area. We don't know how strong those winds were at this time, but clearly a strong force of nature that moved through here and tore down this wall. But like I said, no one injured. The owner's been here 6 years, and he is remarkably in good spirits, saying that he's just happy. Again, no one was hurt. We're live in Cobb County. Zach Summers, Atlanta News First.
That is the good news out of all this. Zach, thank you. Certainly a lot of cleanup to be done there. Severe weather has been sweeping across our state for hours. Here's a live look from Spalding County down south, where cleanup underway right now. The worst of the storm finally moving away from the metro area. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez and Rodney Harris, they have Team First Alert weather coverage for us. It has been a busy day for the First Alert weather team.
Yeah, busy day. Thankfully, the severe weather threat is now out of here, but now we're looking at the damage and assessing what happened. How many tornadoes were there? And really, we're being asked that already. And that's something we won't know until tomorrow at the earliest, but it could take several days.
Yeah, Jen, and while you continue to track what's out there right now, I'm also working on your forecast because we actually have another First Alert tomorrow because of how much colder it's going to get.
Cold and windy, and it will continue through the weekend. So a lot of you going to the parade in Athens on Saturday, this is a forecast you will want to watch. First Alert radar looking so much better right now than it did this afternoon. Look at that line of warnings. They are to our east. Those yellow boxes, those are all severe thunderstorm warnings across much of the upstate of South Carolina, even into portions of middle Georgia. The coast is clear as far as severe weather is concerned. Still seeing some rain behind that main line extending from Atlanta, at least Rockdale County, along I-20 all the way to the South Carolina border. But the threat of severe storms, that is now over and done with. As we take you through tonight, that rain will continue to move out. We're still going to see some lingering moisture. And as that cold Canadian air dives in, that is going to combine with the bit of moisture we'll see tomorrow. And that is going to cause flurries even as far south as metro Atlanta. So if you see a few flurries tomorrow, don't be alarmed. No accumulating snow expected in the metro, but we could see some accumulating snow in the mountains. On top of that, it will be cold and windy, and that will continue through at least the first half of the weekend. For more on that, let's head over to meteorologist Rodney Harris. We go from temperatures near 70, high dew points, high humidity, tornadoes, and severe weather to winter in a day.
And this is all a part of the same storm system, what's going to bring us the colder weather and even the potential for flurries, as you discussed, Jen. So this is the storm system right now. As we discussed earlier, we're talking about a cold front that moved through Georgia, picking up a lot of warm and humid air. That's why we saw the severe weather that continues to move into East Georgia. What's going to happen with this cold front is it's going to move toward the east throughout the rest of the night tonight, and behind it, obviously, really cold air is going to filter in, but something different will happen tomorrow that we typically don't see. So with the cold air moving in, we will also have some leftover moisture on Friday that will interact with the cold air. That's why we are keeping a slight chance of flurries in your forecast, particularly for those of you in the higher elevations of the North Georgia mountains. We're not expecting much accumulations, if any. Just don't be surprised if you see some flurries throughout the day Friday again because of a combination of that moisture on the backside of the system plus cold air that's moving in. And for us in Metro Atlanta, while we're not really forecasting any flurries, it will be cold. So our actual temperatures in the morning are going to be in the 40s. But when you factor in that wind, and we are under a wind advisory, we're talking about temperatures that are going to be feeling more like the 30s as you step out the door. So 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to feel like 32 degrees in the city of Atlanta. At lunchtime, it's going to feel like 33 degrees. And later on throughout the afternoon, 5 o'clock, feeling like 33 degrees. So unfortunately, Friday is going to be one of those days where it's simply going to be cold the entire day and breezy. And that's why Friday is also a first alert. Not a first alert weather day, but a first alert for sure. The high is only 44 degrees tomorrow afternoon. As we go into the weekend, it's going to stay dry, so you don't have to worry about any rain on Saturday or Sunday. Mostly sunny skies. Freezing temperatures in the morning, though, so if you're headed out to the parade, know that it's going to be super cold, but it will stay dry and mostly sunny. We have 2 additional first alerts for rain on Tuesday and for rain on Thursday, so we will be in a wetter pattern next week as well. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic on the other side of this break.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on, I'm trying to see something.
Oh, it's like everywhere. Okay.
Look at the damage done across the metro area as powerful storms rolled through this afternoon. Tori Cooper, she is at the Hobby Lobby there in Griffin.
Yeah, Tracy, I want you to look over here. This used to be the loading dock of the Hobby Lobby. We wanted to make sure that we surveyed the entire scene for our viewers so we could really paint this picture for you. Cars are driving by. Water is pouring off of this roof right here. You can see that it's completely caved in, and there's nothing but this entire brick foundation on the ground over here. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. We're going to cross over here just to show you just the heavy metal that's on the ground right now. There's no way I could lift this. This is definitely going to take machinery out here, some cranes to get this all picked up. These are huge bricks out here on the ground. And over here, if you look up on the Hobby Lobby, you can see really where the roof was completely ripped off of the building. And just to show you what else it did, it just lifted the things that have just been flying in the air over here. There's some shards of metal and some roofing over here as well on the ground. We're actually showing it to you, and all of the power lines are also down, but you can really see the pieces of the roof of the Hobby Lobby are all scattered over this hilltop right here behind the building. You can see the crates are smashed over here. It's just a mangled mess out here, and people are just, as you can see, this is not the route you would imagine people would be going right now, but people are just trying to find any quick route to just get home or wherever they're going, because all of the roads, the traffic lights are all out right now. So again, we'll be out here and trying to stay safe. Back to you.
All right, Tori, thank you. Let's check in one last time with Jennifer Valdez.
Yeah, and the coast is clear. I cannot reiterate that enough. The severe weather threat is now east of our area. You can sleep soundly tonight. No additional tornadoes. This rain will be coming to an end, but behind it, it is going to get cold and windy. We do have a first alert tomorrow for the cold, windy conditions. Highs only in the mid-40s. With the winds, wind chills will be in the 30s. So make sure you bundle up as you head out the door tomorrow.
Jen, thanks, and thank you for watching Atlanta News First at 6.
We'll have more coverage coming up at 7 and 11. We'll see you soon.